Hey,
Oh,
hey, kids, welcome to Fat Man Beyond. I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Marc Bernardin.
Hey,
Hey, man.
how the hell are you, my friend?
I'm hanging in there, buddy. Hanging the fuck in there.
You working, man? You got jobs, right?
I got a job, and then I have aspirations of jobs.
You got a job. What the fuck is that like?
Let's not talk about it too loud in front of the kids, because I don't want them to feel bad.
You got to sing it from the rafters. You're one of the few. You're the last working man in Hollywood, for Christ's sakes.
No, I just got to make sure nobody knows where I live. You have all the money. You've taken all of our money.
Did you see? There's so many things I want to talk about, but rather than like us do it solo, we should bring in our guest because he'll want to geek out about it too. He's got his own shit to talk about. A very exciting fucking comic book that's coming our way any second. I believe it's tomorrow it drops, or should I say swings and or soars like into the comic book store, a local comic shop near you. Let's bring him in because we could talk to him about fucking Clayface, motherfucking Daredevil, all the things. He'll have fucking thoughts and opinions.
Versus Acme.
How about that? You know what? Let's just talk about, ladies and gentlemen, world famous author, best-selling fucking author, New York Times, multiple best-selling author, as well as comic book author, as well as author of what I imagine, since it's coming through DC, Superman / Spider-Man. I think both companies did. Like, what was the one Mark Waid wrote for Marvel or DC?
He did DC.
He did DC. So what are you doing, Marvel?
I'm doing Marvel.
Oh shit! Are you in? Did you come in already? You were on the show.
He's in the show.
I'm in the show, his fucking baby. Name, Bamf man. Give it up for Brad Meltzer, everybody.
Thank you, thank you.
So wait a sec. Wade wrote the DC one. You're writing the Marvel one.
I did the Marvel. So mine's Spider-Man, Superman.
Spider-Man, Superman. My bad. I had it backwards. Why did it? See, I just assumed you were the DC guy because
I usually do DC.
We were talking about right before we went. I was like, this motherfucker who killed Sue Dibney and shit. Oh, my dogs just entered the chat. And then Brad pointed out that was over 20 fucking years ago.
I mean, I was in my local comic store today signing copies, and there are still people ask me about that storyline. And you write these things, and you hope that people enjoy them, and obviously people loved it, people hated it, people have whatever they want to say, but that we're still talking about this 20 years later means we old. That's it.
No, man. It means we spokes in the wheel, son.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, they're when they talk about comic books now, your work is included in that. We grew up reading stuff when we would talk about comic books, and the discussion about comic books was held when we were younger. We were not a part of it. We were generating it because we loved the content. But you are fucking inarguably part of the fabric at this point. So
listen, thanks to, wait, let me just give love back. Yeah. Thanks to you. I mean, I got my start on Green Arrow, and when they brought me in,
that's fucking right. You did Archer.
That's right. And I never wrote you were the one that you were the first guy. I always say to everyone, every interview I do, you were the first guy through the wall, right? People who wrote comics, and people who did films, and novelists wrote their novels. And you were that guy who crossed him. Except for Ham on Batman. Sam Ham did do that.
One more.
Who's the other?
So here's who I always point to, the people that gave me the idea, because when I saw them do it in my youth, I was like, you can do that? Like, you could be this person in this world and write for comics. One was, as you mentioned, Sam Ham, one of the writers of 1989's Batman with Warren Scarn. And Sam, I believe, is the first screenwriter. Warren came on afterwards. He was the first screenwriter,
yeah.
So Sam Ham wrote detective, like
it was whatever it was. I bought it because I remember seeing his name, and I was like, oh, there's a screenwriter. That's what a screenwriter is.
It was a big annual, or it was a number, like 500, and it was Blind Justice, and it was a Dennis Cowan art, fucking beautiful book. Gorgeous. So I saw that and I was like, oh, that's fucking nuts, because that guy wrote Batman. The other guy who came from movies, who I saw writing comic books, and let's see how fast you could get everyone get ready to buzz in, was when he wrote for DC, and this is going way back, pre-Clerks, so late 80s, early 90s, Challengers of the Unknown.
A Loeb.
Bang.
That's
Jeff
what it was.
Loeb had
Boy,
written.
but it's fun.
He
He
wrote
did
two
because he wrote
movies.
Teen Wolf. He wrote, obviously, that's right. That's right. And
He wrote
Loeb is one of
Teen
my
Wolf?
dearest. I love Loeb.
Teen
Loeb,
Wolf
when I came in to do Jack
and
and Bobby, and he did
that's right. He worked on
Commando.
Jack. He worked on
No, he
Jack.
was no, when we were on Jack and Bobby, he was downstairs working on Smallville. So I used to go downstairs to hang with him and Michael Green to talk comics. And he would give me like his stories about Teen Wolf, his stories about Commando. Those stories are legendary. They're legendary.
Somewhere, somehow, someone is going to pay. I don't know if he wrote the poster tagline, but fucking Jeff Loeb wrote Commando. Those two, him writing Teen Wolf and Commando, like made me go like, and he's writing Challengers of the Unknown, and Challengers was fucking damn good. Made me interested in those characters for the first time. So I always point to him, but I appreciate you.
No, but let's just finish the loop. So you're writing Green Arrow. You're now in there as a director, and they're like, oh, this is our #1 book. And Bob Schreck, we got to mention him. He's the man, right? Gave us our shot.
Great
he
Bob
basically, thanks to my friend Judd, who introduced me to Bob, he was like, it's our #1 book. If we take another comic book writer and put it on this book when Kevin leaves, everyone's going to go, where's Kevin Smith? But if we take you, a novelist, and put you on the #1 book, everyone's going to go, wait, what does DC know that I don't know? Putting this novelist I've never heard of on here. So he said to me, you're going to either fail on a big stage or succeed on a big stage, but the stage is yours. And I'm like, I'll take that risk any day. And here's the key, though. This is what no one knows, is when you were leaving, they announced that I was coming, and you gave a quote that said, I already read the script. I love this book. Stick with the book. Stick with Meltzer. Now, I will say, I know you hadn't read the script because I hadn't written the script, and you were so nice. It was the nicest thing that a stranger had done. And it saved the book because it made everyone go, oh, Kevin likes this. I'm going to take a shot. So I sit here, my friend, thanks to you. So thank you for that.
The moral of that story, kids, is every once in a while, Silent Bob can also be Lion Bob. But
no, it was called Generous Bob is what it was. It was generous. No, you knew what the plot was. I know Bob told you the plot, and I knew you knew what I was doing, but that was really kind of you. And that was a real, anyway, neat. You shout out kindness when you see it, especially in this world today.
Speaking of kindness, you got to work. Look, Brad has been on the New York Times bestseller list how many times? Humble brag.
20.
List real quick the books. You know.
So the Viper is the new thriller. The JFK Conspiracy is the new nonfiction. We just did We Are the Beatles for the kids' books. So you name it, you name the genre, I want to take a crack at it.
Tell them what the kids' books are called again.
So the kids' books are like, we did I'm Amelia Earhart, I am Abraham Lincoln, I am Rosa Parks. I know your lovely wife is like our best supporter of them. We just did We Are the Beatles.
You send them to her.
I do. That's the best part.
She loves those books.
And we just did I Am Princess Diana. I Am Princess Diana is the new one. And I love doing it's basically same thing I learned in comics. It's Chris Eliopoulos and I doing comic books just about real people. And I said it's because I want to put some good into the world right now, right? Is that our kids are looking at people who are famous for being famous, people who have a lot of, followers on Instagram. And I tell my kids all the time, that's fame. And being famous is very different than being a hero. So let me give you better heroes to look up to. Like, oh, you want someone creative and you want to learn that? Forget anything else. Here's I Am Jim Henson. Here's I Am Mr. Rogers. You want to learn how to, just be an amazing creator? Like, here's I Am Marie Curie. I'll find anyone. And we're almost on 40 books in the series now. I love doing these books. We also hide Superman in every single book. Don't tell DC Comics they don't know, or Clark Kent in every book. But we have fun with these books, man. And those books have changed my life. I mean, I got to give the commencement address at Michigan last year because of the kids' books. It wasn't because of the novels. It wasn't because of the comics, but people like the kids' books. And that series for Chris and I, it's born out of our love of comics. And it's a comic, but just about an actual person. Muhammad Ali, we did Malala, anything we see in the world. Like when I see them going after Muslim people, I'm like, fine, we're doing Malala, we're doing Muhammad Ali. When I see anti-Semitism rising, I'm like, fine, we're doing I Am Frank. And we just use them to fight back against kind of the venom we see in the world right now.
Superman is hiding in every book, Brad, and it sounds like it's you.
Oh, look at that. Look
Aw.
at you doing that. So
Those books, kids, like number one, let's shout out Chris because Pitch Perfect style for those books, like a beautiful marriage between a writer and artist. Like they're just cuddly. You want to hold each one of them. Those books, and if you've never seen them, kids, then you've not been in an airport or near a bookstore for the last how many years you've been doing it now?
12 years.
I see it all the time. I travel a lot, so like in book sale space, and this is I can think of no higher review. Book sale space in airports is crazy limited, right? Like they don't carry everybody, but no matter where I am in the kids section, which I'm always drawn to, I always see like you are always fucking represented each and every time.
You know what? The best thing about it is the only way I can impress my family at this point is when I'm in an airport bookstore. And the nice part is even when like our novel, The Viper, came out, and if we're like number 15 at the bottom, my mother, may she rest in peace, she would always take the book and she'd switch me with whatever number one was. So all my family now, like even my kids will go in, my friends, like readers will go in and they'll be like, look, check it out, man. And I'm like, oh, look, I'm number one in Newark Terminal C. You know, like that's where I'm number one now. Like I can't get it everywhere, but in Newark Terminal C, I'm crushing in the Hudson News. So I love the fact that like all of our fans, all the comic book people too, they'll always take our books and then just move it, whatever's on number one, like, you know, sorry, James Patterson, you're going to be down here today. And, I love that people do that.
All right. So Brad's done that. Brad's done TV, the aforementioned Jack and Bobby. What else did you do?
We did a show on the history. We did a couple of shows on the History Channel. We did Brad Meltzer's Decoded, Brad Meltzer's Lost History. I said to my wife the other day, honey, what are we having for Brad Meltzer's dinner tonight? Because yesterday we had Brad Meltzer's chicken, and tonight I'd like to have Brad Meltzer's pasta. And she was like, you can go sleep on Brad Meltzer's couch. But basically, yeah. So we did the History Channel shows, and we do our books are a cartoon show on PBS right now.
Is that
PBS
right?
Kids. Yeah. So we have been nominated and lost. We've been nominated for 8 Emmys. We have lost 8 times. Chris Eliopoulos and I just went to the last Emmys, and we lost, I think, 3 on that one.
Who you losing? Who you losing to? Like what the fuck?
We lost to friggin' Star Wars, Mark.
I mean, I didn't do it.
I used to, but I know.
Which Star Wars?
One of them was a Star Wars kids show. There's like this, it's like Jedi Tales or something like that. And we
Young
lost
Jedi
to
Adventure.
and we lost to what's that cute show? The shows we lost to I like. I can't complain. They're like sweet shows. I mean, you have to understand the kids Emmys, like I'm sitting next to the people from Sesame Street on one side. I got like Miss Rachel on the other. You got, you know, all these amazing shows that are just trying to like put some good. No one is there to make money. No one is there to do anything like children's television. You know, it's not like cartoons when we were little where they were just trying to sell you action figures. Like PBS Kids doesn't sell anything. They're just trying to make the world a better place and not be on fire. And you're sitting in that room, and when we lose to like, you know, whatever, Sesame Street or something else, like a creator there, you're like, I can't be mad, you know, like, yeah, I'm cheering. I'm like, that's okay. Like we watch this show, the Pixar show. Did you watch this show as a cartoon that they did? The first, it's about a softball team. It was so good. They swept the Emmys, and I was like watching. I'm like, wow, they're kicking ass tonight. I'm gonna watch this, and I was like, this is the best thing I've seen all year. I can't remember the name of it right now, but the kids Emmys are. We keep losing, but I love the fact we keep going to them. So that's good stuff.
How many seasons have you guys been going now?
We've done 2 seasons, but the way that PBS does it is your first season is like 40 episodes. So they do like your first season is really 2 seasons, and your second season is like 3 and 4. And then if you're lucky, you get another. There's no one, it's really hard to get funding right now because of everything with PBS.
Yeah.
What we're doing for America 250, we're doing like basically putting a lot of episodes together of like Great Americans because they're like, we want to support this. And we did just come out with, we just did a movie, and we did I'm Christopher Reeve on it. And that was really cool. And I had to go to DC because they were like, we can't give you the rights to Superman. That's a Warner Brothers decision. And I'm like, how are we doing Christopher Reeve without showing Superman? So I'm like, I happen to know a few people at DC. So I call up the kind friends at DC. I'm like, guys, come on. Can I do just Eliopolis' style as Superman? They're like, yeah, like, and they're just and they
Right.
were so kind. And so this is, and on the show, it's, Xavier, his sister Yadina, and their best friend Brad, the most handsome cartoon character of all time, is on the show. And they go back and they meet these characters. And at one point, Brad falls out of the tree, and then he in the opening, he imagines that someone's saving him, and he goes, don't worry, I've got you. He goes, you got me. Who's got you?
Oh,
And I just love that there are parents out there that know we're doing Superman. No kid understands the reference, but I love the fact that we're hiding the best nerd references on a PBS Kids show right now.
fantastic. Before we dive into the latest work, which we're here to talk about, Spider-Man, Superman, let's hit real quick something you had nothing to do with, but something you will have an opinion on because, like us, you grew up with this shit. This is in your blood. Mr. Identity Crisis will have thoughts because this is DC oriented. Let's talk about that Clayface trailer.
Killer, man. That Clayface, I mean, I have to say, and I had high hopes, right? Because I saw some of the stuff, and you can't. I
And it's
always talk about
Mike
that.
Flanagan, right?
Mike Flanagan, who his last movie was that was so good with Loki with what's the name of the movie?
The Life of Chuck. Life
The
of
what?
Chuck. The Life of
Yeah,
Chuck.
Life of Chuck was good, man. That was a beautiful movie. What I love is when you see in our nerd world is when something like that gets greenlit, it's because someone's got a take, right? There's no line to make Clayface movies, right? There's a line for Batman, there's a line for Joker, there's a line for, the big things. But when I saw that James Gunn greenlit a Clayface movie, you're like, he knows something we don't know. And that haunting song, and I'm sure that I want to hear your take on the directing, but that eye that locks on you and closes in on you, I was like, done. You don't need to show me more. I got it. I got it. This is a horror story. I'm in.
Body horror elevated. I mean, even from that opening shot, the slow track in on the fucking on that is like Homer when Homer and Bart went to steal all the oil from the kitchen. And he got his eye in the vacuum and turned around, and Bart's like, "Oh my god!" And Homer's like, "What?" And his eyes bulge. It was haunting to look at, and then the quick cuts to him previous in the kind of secret origin made it feel like, all right, so it's like Joker serious, but you're dealing with subject matter that like Joker could work in the real world, right? It's a guy with a gun who puts makeup on. Something completely fucking different going on here. This shit don't happen in a real world with fucking smudgy face and shit like that. So haunting to say the least. And I want it to be a comic book movie, so don't take this the wrong way. But you could see that trailer, not know a fucking thing about comic books, and be like, I want to see that movie.
Oh, I think that's what's going to happen to it, right? I think it's like it's a Jordan Peele DC movie, right? Like, and I'm not a horror guy. I actually don't like horror. I think my active imagination gets the best of me. Like, I loved Weapons. I love Jordan Peele movies. I like when they're kind of like elevated horror, but I like this, man. This looked like it had something to say. It wasn't just trying to jump scare me, but I mean, it looked like it had a story, and this guy was going to be ruined. And as in that last shot when he does the wipe, you're like, oh, I'm ready to go.
Now,
It's
is
funny
this
that like James Gunn seems to be operating in two modes, which is I'm going to make you the most comic book thing you've ever seen. I'm going to make you a Superman movie that feels like a comic book, and now I'm going to make a comic book movie that feels like a horror movie. Like it's almost smuggling the comic book inside of a horror shell, which I think is kind of interesting. Like the Joker smuggled a comic book movie inside of Seven, inside of Falling Down, inside of misanthropic, Scorsese in the 70s, more than it was a Batman villain movie. And so I think it's super fucking smart to be able to play both sides of the street. And I'm gonna get the nerds who want to come, and I'm gonna get the people who don't know, because this just looks fucking scary.
whose Clayface is this meant to be? Is this meant to be Rob Pattinson Batman Clayface or the forthcoming Brave and Bold
That's a
Batman?
good question. That's
Because
a
it
good
seemed
question.
at home in the world of Rob Pattinson's
Yep.
Batman. Like,
But I don't know. I
like
don't know if James Gunn wants to
quasi-realistic.
feed just that. I feel like now he's got big picture stuff. I don't. That's a good question. The thing
There are
that
those there are those online conspiracy theorists of sorts who think that like that we're going to find out that Rob Pattinson is the Batman of the David
that's going to be the
Cornsweet
reveal of who it is going to be
universe.
there.
I mean,
I don't. You know what? Whichever way you show it to me, I don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect my like. I'll if I see Pattinson, who I love as Batman, I'm like awesome. If you show me someone new as Batman, I'm gonna be like, great, let's go. So, here's what makes me happy is that Warner Brothers used to have this idea that superhero movies, they all got to be dark. Everything's got to be dark. There's one way to make a superhero movie. And the only thing, and you know this, that we as comic book readers know is there's no one way to make a great comic, right? There's Watchmen, and then there's like Man for All Seasons, right? You can do dark and you can do light, and you could do funny and get Deadpool, and you can like there's every different tone in between. It's why like when Thor came out, when Marvel was doing their spooling out their universe, and you saw, Taika come in and do this Thor comedy buddy cop movie, you're like, wait, someone finally realized Chris Hemsworth is funny? Oh, this is going to be great. That's a take. Let's go. And now you could do something that's funny. You're like, yeah, that could be great. And you can do a serious one and you can do a non-serious one. And I just love that James Gunn is going, I'm going to not say there's one tone, but like comics itself, I'm going to just let you tell a good story. And that's the only thing I need. That's what makes me happy. I don't care
like I
how
love
you
that,
do it.
like Gunn's DC Studios does not seem to have a house style in the way that Marvel, the MCU, has a house style. I mean, you can vary tones within it. You can 100% have Guardians be one thing and have First Avenger be another thing and have, Thor, Ragnarok be a third thing. But it all felt kind of in the same house style. Fucking Clayface looks 1,000 miles away from what Superman was, which looks 1,000 miles away from what Joker was and Batman was, which is awesome because different artists are drawing these books and they're all in the same company. They're published by the same people, but they should look wildly different and still be part of the same universe. I mean, I don't know how an audience is going to coalesce all this in their heads, but like Batman 2 Batman made like $700 million at the box office. Joker made like a billion at the box office. Superman did like 600 at the box office. They don't seem to have a problem with varying house styles. So like fucking do it.
And listen, horror makes money.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna make, I'm not worried about them. Horror makes money. But I think what really excites me is, I don't know if tell me if anyone else did this, but when I watched it, my thought was, oh, we can get the best Batman animated series episode. We can now do Mr. Freeze. We can do like suddenly if you're gonna give a movie to a villain like that, I was like, now whole new doors are opening. I was like, you can do the real good stuff now. Like I'm gonna see Mr. Freeze and his frozen wife, and let's bring it all on.
Nora,
thank you.
Yeah.
Did anyone else see, or is this just me, a shadow shot of his fist growing into a cudgel of sorts? And
yeah, that's what I thought it was. I didn't slow it down, but that's what I thought it was, and I was like, I'm ready for it, baby.
I was like, I thought like at a certain point, I was like, all right, so they're gonna make it about a movie star whose face fucking smudgies, and that's about that. But when they showed that shadow, I was like, hello.
Oh yeah.
You
gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, that's crazy. That would be like, doing a fucking Carnage movie and showing the skies, like the hands turning into skies in shadow form. It's like, oh my God, they're fucking committing to Clayface, the Clayface we know. In the beginning, when they were starting to make this, we didn't know if it was going to be Basil Carlo, is that his name?
Yeah.
Or Matt Hagen, and it looks like it's flat out Matt Hagen, and they're doing fucking that, which is holy shit.
It feels a bit like what Blumhouse was doing with the Universal Monsters. It feels like that Invisible Man movie, which was like, oh no, he's gonna be invisible, but there's a bunch of other shit that's happening here, and it's gonna say a bunch more about the world we live in than just a dude who can turn invisible. And so what does this say about body image and body horror and frustration and I don't know how deep it's going to go in like the incel path, but if you're going to tell me that this dude who thought he was beautiful, who was looks maxing his life away, who suddenly becomes disfigured, what does that say about ego, about sense of self, about directing anger inwards or outwards? Like there's a lot to use a character like this to say, and I'm excited. And I'm not a horror guy either. I kind of, I'm not gonna say I loathe them, but I do steer clear of them. But fucking all right.
I am a horror guy. I am a comic book guy. This looked fantastic. It has my money. It has money that I'll pay for the people who are going to come with me to watch this movie. Wife and/or kid and shit. Like it just looked dope, and I'm happy for him. He's a nice boy, that Mike Flanagan.
He didn't direct it. He co-wrote it.
He co-wrote it. Who directed?
A fella named James Watkins.
I'm in. That fucking trailer was.
That trailer was killer, and the song, I know that we're in our sweet spot for slow down some old song from when we're young, and I almost swore the oath, like Batman with the bat flying through the window, that like I'm not gonna fall for that again. Like since like I think Ant-Man, like they do it every time. Slow down the song, play that nostalgia porn and it started going, and I was like, oh, it's too good though. Today will not be the day that I swear this off. It was too good.
And actually, it's a song that was on the Guardians 3 soundtrack.
It's also a song that was in San Diego the year that they showed the trailer for Guardians 2, before the mainstream trailer went. The song they used was Flamin' Lips. Is that who?
Yeah, Do You Realize?
And it was beautiful. But
Beautiful
then when
song.
they put the main trailer out, they changed the song completely. So when I heard, but this was a haunting use of it and shit, especially with the most beautiful face and shit. All right, so that's one. Let's talk about Daredevil while we're at it. Is everyone current on Daredevil?
I'm not current, but talk about it because I know what happens, but
I'm one down. I've seen the first 4. I haven't seen 5 yet.
I just started the episode that began with Bullseye in the diner, the New York State of Mind set piece. So I'm midway through that. They haven't started the fight yet. And because the internet's, I know some bad things.
That's what happened to me. I know what happens, but I didn't see it. It just does.
As well. So I too am like 1 or 2 episodes behind, but I'm familiar with what's coming. But let's stop and appreciate that Bullseye performance, especially because they are doing what makes sense in terms of his costume. Like, why would you leave this open? You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy covers himself in what I would assume is like Kevlar and has to leave this shit open. So to leave this open, the mug, would just be stupid. But of course, as comic book fans, that's what we want. Like, eventually get to this place where he does this, because that actor is so fucking expressive. That whole sequence, like him killing like fucking crazy, even before he started, just let us see that fucking beautiful face of his. Man, he's got like a Willem Dafoe type expressive delivery. So I hope they get to a play, and I'm not saying they need to, and this is what sucks about the show. Not at all. I love what they're doing with Bullseye. No notes. But if eventually they get to this shit, I'll be a happy camper.
Listen, I will never get over it. I mean, I sat in the theater when Wolverine put on the real mask, and everyone, I mean, I saw with people from Marvel, but people were cheering. We still want that moment, right? That moment where you're like, I got you, we got you. Don't worry about it.
It's they've been doing a strong season, I feel like. It's first episode, I think, moved kind of slowly. That's not
the first one was slow, and then it picked up.
It really picked up from episode 2 forward. And I guess spoilers, Jessica Jones. I mean, it ain't spoilers all over the fucking.
Yeah, that's everywhere.
Jessica Jones shows up in the latest episode.
Yeah, and I think further on you get Luke Cage, and despite all of the evidence that I thought to be true in the world, the moral certainty that I had for like years and years and years, Finn Jones is returning as Iron Fist, which I never thought would happen again. But
I agree with you on that. That was the one that I thought when I saw they were having Luke back, I was like, oh, they're never going to get him. And I was like, man, again, back to Jeff Loeb. That was his thing. That was his.
Somebody's a
Feeling
completist
it.
there.
They're
Who's like,
feeling.
get them all.
They're like, look, man, we're feeling Danny Randy. We got to do it, man. We'll slip him in there. They're going to redeem him somehow before they hand over that mantle to somebody else. But I heard that they're talking about maybe doing Heroes for Hire.
Oof.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Right. Just show me the moment. Just show me the close up.
You gotta get there by having a Power Man and Iron Fist. So looks like we're heading.
There's
in
a
that
part
way.
of there's a part of my brain that just I'm like, are they just going to give us everyone back so that in the first 5 minutes of Doomsday they're going to murder them all and restart them? Like just okay, fine. I'm going to take your heart. Here's your heart. Here you go. Because the beginning of Doomsday, it's going to be the same thing. There's going to be some establishing fight where someone has to get slaughtered, whether it's like Christ on Infinite Earths, whether it's like the Hulk getting beat down by Thanos. There's something that just has to show Doom's like, do not mess with Doom. I'm just trying to pick who it's going to be.
It smells like it's going to be the X-Men.
X-Men. I think it's X-Men too.
Right
It's
off
gotta
the
be.
top, man.
That's what I think. I think you take the X-Men out first. That's what all of us think. But I'm just like, well, I think everybody. I mean, we know that it's going to go to a moment where Captain America of some sort has to, the equivalent of Captain America has to yell assemble, and it's got to be bigger than what they gave us last time. So there's going to be some moment where it all comes, where everyone has to go. But yeah, I think it's going to be the X-Men.
Yeah, especially because, so much of where Secret Wars seems to be heading is multiverses, okay, who are actually going to be the X-Men going forward in the MCU? Because it's not going to be Rebecca Romijn and Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, I know.
James McAvoy and that bunch. So you've got to cleanse the deck a little bit. You've got to clear the space. And that seems to be the obvious way to clear the space.
Can we also talk for a moment? I know that I always knew, it was never hidden, that Secret Wars was going to come 1 year later. But we keep talking about them like 2 movies. I mean, is it just, do we know, or do we think it's just a 2-parter? It's just a big 2-parter again? Like, it's not going to be 2 things.
Well,
it's like it's 1 year later. It means they got to be going. They're filming.
They were talking about doing Doomsday as a 2-parter, but then one thing I recently read online was, no, it's just close to a 4-hour running time.
Right. I mean, I was like, that's what they do. Remember if you remember Infinity War, they originally were like, oh, we're going to do 2-part. And then they said no. And then said, we're going to do 2. And we're like, we believe them. We believe them. We're like, no, you can't. Same thing in Spider-Verse. I was like, oh, okay. As you get in the end of the Spider-Verse, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to wrap this up after all this time. And you're like, oh, it's another part.
So do you think they have shot Secret Wars already then?
It's a year later. How are they not? How are they doing all that work in a year? I mean, I just don't understand how you're going to do a whole. I know they wrapped on Doomsday, but you tell me they're going to do a whole thing in 1 year? Everything? I mean, God bless if you can, but
I'd like to say it's impossible, but on the other hand, Denis Villeneuve will have given us Dune 1, 2, and 3 in like 5 years.
If you got the money, I guess, right? You can
and if you don't do anything in between, and if you're fucking efficient, like they used to make movies super fast. Granted, this is giant, it's got a zillion moving parts, but like if you got a good script and if you've got a plan, and like, yeah, you probably shoot 1.5 of them when you're shooting Doomsday, and then you can come back and finish the last half of it.
That's what I think happens. I don't. Yeah. I think that. I think you have. I don't think you can be just 1 and nothing. I think you got to be like 1.5.
Yeah, mostly because you don't want to stop the engine of production. Like you kind of want to keep the team together. You want to keep them working. You want to keep rhythm. And then you're like, here's what we got. Do we have what we need? Great. We're going to come back. We're going to do some reshoots for 1. We're going to do a bunch of quote unquote additional photography for Secret Wars. And then we're good.
Where do y'all stand on that? I saw the internet got like, fuck them. And I didn't bump into that. I was like, oh, like, are they going to show us Steve Rogers traveling back in time? That's what I read it as. They're like, it's going to be altered. And it's like, oh, they're going to show us Steve putting the Infinity Stones back and how that leads to, Dr. Doom.
The new footage that they're putting into Endgame.
That's what I think.
That's what I read. Yeah.
I think the new footage they're putting in Endgame makes, like, if it's the Steve Rogers puts the Infinity Stones back, I don't bump into that, but I saw a lot of people online were like, this is a cheap trick that Marvel's doing. I was like, nah, they're just remixing. I mean, especially if you're remixing with fucking new, like that's still integral to that story, but then kind of hands off better to this. And I saw a lot of complaints online going, well, they, you know, with Avengers, or with Endgame, they had years of storytelling, you know, intertwined coming up to this moment. They're like, here, they're trying to rush it. And it's like, well, yes, obviously their Kang plan didn't go as they hoped, but I'm not bumping into anything that they're doing so far.
No, I mean, according to the,
go ahead, Mark, please.
I was just gonna say, according to the Russos, you know, because they're the ones who came out and said at apparently the Sands Film Festival in Scotland that like it's important to re-release Endgame, and they're re-releasing it with footage that is set in the Doomsday story that we have added to Avengers Endgame, because it's important to create a bridge from Endgame to Doomsday in a very unique way, and because the movie was so successful, we can re-release it. You know, always get to do that because of whatever, but it's a unique opportunity to help connect those threads, given that it's now been almost 10 years since Endgame and another 9 movies or whatever in between that don't help tell that story. So like, how do we connect those gaps? Because the MCU, I remember when my wife wanted to go see when Infinity War is coming in, I said, well, we'll just watch Avengers, Ultron. I want to see the one before it. I'm like, no, honey. There's another 10 movies between Ultron and Infinity War. Like, that's not how we do this. But I think they got to find a way to bridge that gap, assuming that not everybody went to go see Thunderbolts or went to go see Shang-Chi or went to go see Quantumania.
I was going to say, I was bumping up against it a year and a half ago until they got the Russos back. When they got the Russos back, I was like, in Russos, we trust on this stuff. They're the best directors they got. Let them go. To me, it's no different than George Lucas saying, okay, you know what, filling the job apart, it'll make it better for Jedi. Like, you don't need it. It wasn't there in the beginning, but you know what? The connective tissue makes it even nicer. We heard him mention his name, but let's put that in and it'll tie it all together and make it look nice.
Yeah, I'm here for it. You know, I don't think it doesn't rob you of the movie that you know and love. That version of Endgame will always be on your fucking shelf if you're a person like me who's all about the physical media, if not in your memories of having been in the last great fucking in-theater experience was seeing Endgame, you know, with a packed house on opening night. You'll still have that. Whatever this is, I mean, let's see.
Oh, boys, I would like
Yes.
to have a brief discussion, and then we'll dive into Spider-Man, Superman, which Brad wrote and is coming out, depending on what side of the country you're on, today or tomorrow. The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yes.
Trailers for which, and pulled scenes for which. Jon Favreau was just on some talk show, so there was a scene that they put a. Looks like good old Star Wars fun. Like, can't wait. Plop my fat ass in a movie theater seat, preferably Smodcastle Cinemas in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, and watch that. First new Star Wars movie I could watch on a big screen in a long time. I keep seeing article after article about how it's not tracking, and it's tracking like around or lower than Solo, which was the lowest grossing Star Wars movie at the box office of all time or whatever the fuck. And a lot of the conjecture pieces that, people are writing say, well, that's because they've devalued Star Wars as a brand by turning it into a television show. Now people just see Star Wars as a TV show. So I don't say I agree with that or disagree with that. That's just what's out there. But my question to y'all is, wouldn't that also apply to Marvel if that was the case? Because Marvel's doing a lot of TV as well. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think they did claim that was part of what contributed to the lower grosses. Granted, it was post Endgame and post No Way Home, and everything was going to gross less than Endgame and No Way Home. But yeah, I mean, Captain America: Brave New World did not gross what the previous movies did. Why? Because there was a Falcon, Captain America, and Bucky show. You know what I mean? Like that was also the knock on the mid-range movies that Marvel put out, was that, yeah, you flooded the zone on fucking Disney Plus of bad Marvel television. And that might have tainted what people were expecting them to go to the theater. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's the fact that if you call a movie Mandalorian and Grogu and you don't know what those two words mean, you are not running out to go see it. Like my mom knows what Star Wars is. She doesn't know what Mandalorian and Grogu is. And so the name recognition factor of, you have a brand like Star Wars and it's not called Star Wars, you know,
it's not in the title. It's not Star Wars, The Mandalorian.
I'm sure it is, but like the biggest type on the poster is Mandalorian and Grogu. Like, I don't know what that is.
See, it's funny. I actually take a different. I don't disagree with anything, but I also think this. I think that Hollywood has become so good at taking the wrong lesson from why something fails. Like I remember when the Buzz Lightyear movie came out and it just failed, and everyone was like, old cartoons don't work anymore. Like no one wants an old cartoon. It doesn't, old cartoons aren't going to work. And like 3 weeks later, the new Despicable Me movie opened, which was the same old cartoon. And then it blew up. And the only difference between those two things was that one was really good and one wasn't. And I feel like the lesson that Hollywood just needs something to do to like to talk about, to get us talking about, to get us crazy about. I don't think anything is more important in any movie or any TV show or anything else, what medium it is it so fucking good that you're going to tell your friend you got to go see this? And if it is, I don't care how many TV shows they are, we'll go to it because it's awesome. And in this world, if it's not awesome, as competitive as entertainment has gotten, people aren't going to go. So if it's awesome, we'll go. And if it's not, we're not. And I think that is to me the core lesson. I think when they say, it's too much TV, I can't argue with it. It's certainly right. But I just think that at the end of the day, it's got to be great to get us to go to a seat. And when you look at something like Project Hail Mary, why? Because it's frigging great. That's a great movie. It makes everyone feel good. He can do no wrong, right? Ryan Gosling can do no wrong. He's like the Tom Hanks of our generation now. And we all love him and we feel good about the world. And so we all told everyone, go see this movie. It's so fun. And if Mandalorian Grogu reaches that, then we'll all go. And if it doesn't, then it's going to be like Solo.
Yeah. I mean, it's like if you can sell each of these things like it's an original movie, like if I didn't know anything about Star Wars and you were just pitching me a movie called Mandalorian and Grogu and it was great, and if you sold it great, okay, cool.
Well, look at Andor. No one knew what Andor was, right? But like we just loved it. And people, like, I always use my mother-in-law as the example, right? She doesn't care but she's like, oh, what's Andor? I'm in because I know it's good. It didn't matter that there were other shows that were not as good, or movies that she didn't like and didn't go to, but she knew somehow we all can sniff out something special is happening here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that to your point, like Project Hail Mary worked because it's phenomenal. And it seems as if somebody at Amazon MGM remembered how to sell us a movie, and sell it on. And they didn't sell us on reviews at the beginning because they didn't really have any. They knew it was good. There was some early word, buzz, but it was, how do we get people excited about this fucking movie? They didn't hide that there was a fucking Rocky in it. They didn't hide very much of it, but they just sold us on a feeling, and they sold us on that guy. Ryan Gosling, to your point, is a movie star. In as much as we have them anymore, he's a movie star. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Like I'm sure everybody wished the Fall Guy did better.
Trust me, I remember thinking the Fall. I was like, I'm so ready for the Fall Guy. Like I was, and it obviously didn't work as everyone wanted. That's the one. That's one of those ones that's confounding. But I hear you.
Yeah, and so like if you can just remember how to sell a movie, not reliant on the title, not reliant on the franchise, not reliant on what you consider to be an installed base of fandom, just sell us on a good thing. Do you have the goods?
Right. I always go back to Everything Everywhere All at Once. I remember going to see that movie. It has a long title that you don't know what it means. You don't know what it is. It's obviously a brand new thing. And I remember going to see that, and then I came home and I said to my wife, we need to bring this kid to it, and we took that kid to it. And then I said, we're going to take this kid and we went back multiple times. I was like, I don't care, kids, you are not escaping going to see this, because I need to show you that at any moment in time in the universe, there will always be someone who's sitting in their garage, and who, no matter how much regurgitation of nostalgia Hollywood's going to try and bring you, there is always room for a brand new idea. It's my favorite fucking thing about entertainment. There's always room for someone to say, check out my work. And that one just blew the doors off. And it didn't matter what the title was, or the thing was, or how weird it was, or those floppy fingers were. It was a breath of fresh air. And when that happens, like, marketing and everything else almost doesn't matter, because the word of mouth is what carries the best work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the tricky part about Star Wars as a franchise is that so many people come to it expecting it to make them feel the way they felt when they were 7.
And that's the same thing in comics, right? Where you're not even watching the thing. You just want to be, you're just chasing your youth.
Yeah. It's a nostalgia play, which is a shame because it shouldn't be. You know, Andor is not a nostalgia play. Andor is, holy shit, we took a look at the world we're living in. We found a way to tell a story like that in Star Wars, but we are not giving you what you think you're going to get from Star Wars. Unless what you loved about Star Wars was, oh, the Empire is who? And who are the rebels?
I always think of Andor as like Watchmen to me. It's just like, it was just that breath of fresh air that you were like, oh, someone took it super serious and just did such a beautiful thing, that it was bigger than the characters, bigger than the universe itself. It was just had something to say about where we were.
I'm trying to think of the pop culture of our childhood and how long it was able to last before like we came along. So that would be shit like, you know, in cartoons, Rocky and Bullwinkle, the Flintstones, you know, a lot of early Hanna-Barbera, Disney movies, before pop culture formulated into pop culture. Did these things have enough staying power? Like, is it that eventually most characters, or let's make it IP, is subject to entropy? Like, could it just be that like you reach saturation point with even the most popular shit, like say a Star Wars, and then it's just, you know, a series of diminishing returns? It's not like it'll never not make fucking money or something like that, but I think it's kind of weird for us to watch Star Wars like possibly struggle. And we don't even know. The movie could open fucking huge. But even the idea of it possibly struggling seems like an anathema, because it's just so massive and like, you know, too big to fail kind of. But we have seen it, quote unquote, fail before. We have seen, you know, cracks in the facade, so to speak. And it's not so much like I don't sit there and wonder, is, you know, Star Wars tired or Star Wars over? It's just, does everything have its fucking time? And it's just, we've grown up in a world where they won't let anything go. And I say that as a nostalgia act myself. I'm trying to get the last fucking 500 grand so I can make yet another Jay and Silent Bob movie. And that movie's not about the fucking blazing new path of the future. That's predicated on the fucking past. Remember these guys? We're doing it again, kind of thing. So I'm all for, you know, nostalgia cinema, man. That's why I don't bump into when they're like, hey, we're re-releasing Endgame, we're sticking new scenes in it. I'm like, great, I fucking loved Endgame. I would love to go back to a movie theater, have that same experience all over, plus with new shit that gets me ready for what's next, man. Reminds me of going to see Star Wars again theatrically just to watch the Empire Strikes Back trailer at the beginning of it and shit. But could it be that everything, like, here, Davy Crockett was once a very popular character, so much so they fucking sang songs about him. He had a TV show, a movie, I'm sure, or whatever the fuck. But now nobody could be fucked to tell a Davy Crockett story. And I'm not saying why not. God damn it, I miss David Crockett. I'm just saying there are things that could be, you know, bigger than fucking the Beatles in pop culture that can go away. And it's just maybe in our lifetime we've never encountered that until now. Am I stoner overthinking it?
No, I actually think you're asking a beautiful question. I think the difference is something that's popular entertainment and that's, you know, trendy entertainment, and then something that's actually has something to say about the culture. Like Davy Crockett, when it came out, was something that was exploring this brand new world that people were scared of and trying to explore. So it had something to say. And, you know, I always think of it like this, is that the stories we love most, it's not because we love the character, it's not because we love the setting, it's not because we love outer space or the future or like even superheroes. Like our favorite stories are the stories that say that when we watch them, they tell us something about ourselves. They tell you something about you. They show you your potential. They show you something that you're capable of. You see in that character someone you either want to be or something you're terrified to be. And and as long as the story does that, to me, it's universal. And Davy Crockett, when it was basically I think, you know, I never really watched it, but I think it was just basically about a guy who was exploring the outdoors. And as long as that was it, that's all it had to say, because no one found another gear. But I remember, you know, think of something like He-Man, right? I remember, like, I knew He-Man when I was a kid. It was fun. It was cute. I really thought it was over. Then I watched your cartoon with my son, and he was like, I love this. This is awesome. And he became the Kevin Smith fan from He-Man because you found a new gear in it, right? It's not, and I think the whole thing is like anything will age out if it's just propped up on your old memory, but it will never age out if it's propped up on something that's bigger than you know, just what that thing is, if that makes any sense.
It does. Think about like Sherlock Holmes. This is fucking character's been around forever, has had cinematic permutations, TV permutations, and then fairly recently, a cinematic and a television.
Yeah, they can't get enough. And Watson thing, multiple Watsons, because it went in the public domain. Everybody's got a Watson.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you know, to add on to what Brad is saying, I think that it requires interpretation. I think the version of Davy Crockett that existed in the 50s and the 40s and the whatever was one thing, you know, for one purpose. If you came to me and said, hey, I got a Davy Crockett that's going to examine the role of exploration in the natural world, I got a Davy Crockett that is going to look at America's responsibility for what it did to the West. You know, I'm going to look at the world through the eyes of today using this character as a prism. Like, Sherlock Holmes remains and persists because people keep reinterpreting it. It is not the same Sherlock Holmes from 1910. It's not the same Sherlock Holmes from the books from Arthur Conan Doyle. It is, you know, two dudes who are, you know, veterans of the Afghan wars, you know, who are still fighting fucking crimes in London. Or it is a Victorian story. Or it is, there's a young Sherlock Holmes right now on Amazon, which is kind of finally digging into the idea that, yeah, Sherlock Holmes was probably gay, you know, and also a cocaine fiend, but still solved crimes. But who can Sherlock Holmes be now? And how can it help tell us stories about who we are going forward? I think
that's right.
Immortality of story requires reinvention and reinterpretation. Like Westerns were that thing. There were more Westerns than fucking anything in the 40s, 50s, 60s. Some of it because it was cheap as fuck, and some of it because the audience loved it. And then they fell out of love with it because the world changed, because Westerns were innocent. And then you get to Vietnam, you know, then you get to the 60s, then you get to the early 70s. And then it became Peckinpah, it became the Wild Bunch. It became, oh, fuck, the West exploration was a violent act. Here are violent men doing awful things. And then they reinterpreted it again in the 70s and 80s. And then Justified is just a fucking Western, but it's contemporary. It's looking at different things. It's looking at, you know, rural crime still. And again, like, can we find ways to find new life in these old ideas? The more we can, the longer they stay. You know, it's like, I think
Beautifully
that,
said. Beautifully
you know,
said.
It's why Batman persists. It's why Superman persists, because new storytellers keep looking at these old characters and finding new things in them. And so long as we let them do that, these stories can last forever, because we'll have new things to say using those stories as tools.
Now, I have seen, I don't know who wrote about it, but somebody said, you know, a couple years from now, you're going to have made to order movies based on AI, you know, and we've seen what AI can produce and shit like that, cost the environment and our time. But doesn't seem far-fetched, man. Did everybody see that clip of Dr. Doom taking out the army of Kangs that's been making the rounds?
Sure.
Fucking impressive to look at and shit like that. So doesn't seem like we're very far away, if the world survives, from that exact thing where you're going to be like, I want to watch, fucking a Marvel movie, but this is all the ingredients I want. This is how long I want it to be, and blah, blah, blah. And they will spit it out for you, a made to order kind of movie. I don't think that means like, well, that's it for fucking the artists, writers, directors, no. I think historically there's always been what folks have considered like junk entertainment. Like even when we were growing up, the movies we fucking loved, like they weren't being hailed, by the critics as like cinematic masterpieces and stuff like that. They were dismissed as fucking trash cinema, cheap, like, oh, come on, this is disposable, this is nuts. And yet we grew up and turned them into fucking classics and stuff. I wonder, like, there's nobody left to make what comes out now last long enough to become a classic. Case in point, Gilligan's Island comes out and runs for a bunch of seasons. I mean, maybe that's not the right example, but like shit, in our childhood, you couldn't avoid Gilligan's Island.
Oh man, I loved it.
Maybe the Brady Bunch is a better example, but they had a long run as well. But you're talking about shows that had a TV run, but were ensconced in fucking stone based on their syndicated run, based on kids like us who weren't even alive when they started that shit or cognizant, being able to watch it every damn day, consume it, even though it was from a completely different generation from ours by the time we were cognizant of these storylines. And still it worked for us. And I remember like, oh my God, my kids will be watching the fucking Brady Bunch, I'm sure. And now, like,
yeah, they don't know what it is.
Nothing lasts long enough to be pushed into classic territory. It feels like, because, content is now never ending and stuff. And in a world where whoever made that prediction is accurate, and we do get fucking made to order fucking AI flicks, it'll be a lot harder for anything to fucking catch on with mass traction. Just like that article I was talking about, how they're like, that may have been the height of monoculture. Like I'll be there fucking every damn day for Doomsday. They'll get my money a couple fucking times. But do you think it could even get close to Endgame? And that's not saying in quality or fucking in terms of like storytelling, just box office alone. Is something like that even possible? Like Jim Cameron said before Avatar 3 came out, he goes, look, I don't know if there's gonna be another one because I don't even think I can reach the number of the last one anymore. He's like, I don't think it's mathematically impossible at this point. So I know it's a long-ranging question. We've gone many places, but I wonder if it's even possible for Doomsday to Endgame. That makes sense.
I think I'm not going to say anything's possible because that's not true. To take your first point, that bespoke entertainment, I can tell AI to give me a thing that I want, will fundamentally collapse on itself because your average person is not creative. They're just not. They don't have that. Your average person would not fucking kill Jon Snow. Your average person would not program in the Red Wedding. They don't know how to surprise themselves. And I'm not going to say that I do either, because when I'm writing a story, like, yeah, I'd love to be surprised. And I am at a point, and then I understand it and I keep writing that story. But I want the thing that I can't think of in the entertainment that I love. And if I am asking AI to give me something, I'm asking to not be surprised. I'm asking to get the Pat Boone version of a James Brown song. I'm losing everything that made that song amazing because I'm asking for it to be the way I want it to be. I want it to be less rhythmic. I want it to be less exciting. I want it to be, I want to sand off all the rough edges and give me the thing that I'm looking for. And if I keep getting exactly what I want, I'm going to be kind of bored by it. I want the thing that I didn't know I want the thing that maybe might be scary for me. I want the thing that's going to surprise me and shock me and horrify me. Um, and I'm not going to get that by turning to AI. It's not going to give it to me. In the same way that if I ask AI right now, it's like, hey, can you give me the slow down version of, fucking Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones so that I can program it into the AI trailer that I'm going to cut for fucking, Doomsday 2, Electric Boogaloo? Like, yeah, I mean, all right, sure, it can do it, but I asked for it, and it just gave me what I asked for. And that's not why I go to the movies anymore. And like, will Doomsday make as much as Endgame? I don't know. It'll make more than anything else this year. I'll tell you that. I don't think it's going to, who knows if it's going to hit a $2 billion mark. Who knows? Avatar 3 probably couldn't do it because, fuck it, we had just saw Avatar 2 and it's the same movie. It's not great, But will the Odyssey make $1.5 billion? 100%. I would bet
Really?
that the Odyssey is going
To me, if it's good, that's the thing. Is it's like those things. If it's and I say good, it has to be great. If it's
Yeah.
great, it will. If it isn't, it won't. I mean, that everything's graded on a curve now, right? Like, can Doomsday Endgame, right? Mathematically, probably not, right? In some ways, unless it's great, unless you can get. There's a certain part of the population that's always going to go. And again, I'll go back to my mother-in-law. You got to get my mother-in-law to go. If you get my mother-in-law to go to a Marvel movie, write your own checks. It's all going to go. But the one thing I believe in, and Mark, I totally agree with you, is like people they don't know what they want. In
Yeah.
fact, they don't even want what they want. They want something that is going to completely shock them and knock them out of their socks. And I do believe that there's always room. Like the person who is going to shock us and knock us on our ass is right now, 13 years old in her garage, making something. And I can't wait to see what she makes. It's going to be awesome. Now, can it have that monoculture moment? That's a harder thing, right? As you said wisely, Kevin, like we're in our silos now, so it's just harder to break through. But when, and that's why we have these moments. We have, my kids watched when they went to see One Battle After Another. I was like, there used to be 10 of those movies every year, and now there's like one or two, right? So it's just shrunk, but my hope is we can still at least get one every once in a while that just goes like, wow, what was that? What was that breath of fresh air? So I got faith in that. It may not be as many, it may not be as big, but there's always room for a new idea, man. Nothing can stop a new idea.
Yeah, and like look at last year, One Battle After Another and Sinners were these two giant movies that broke through, that 100% captured more than you would have expected it to. Either of them. One of them is, it's kind of I'm not going to say standard drama about a father who doesn't know his daughter and gets involved with some wacky shit along the way and an odd cast of characters and whatever. But if you were to just tell me the log line for each of those movies, they don't seem revolutionary, but then you see these movies and then suddenly there's something about them that activates and energizes and cuts through everything. And
Right.
suddenly,
That Sinner's dance sequence, I remember when I saw it just being stopped in my tracks.
yeah,
Like
I wept.
that was literally like a revolutionary, beautiful, transformative, transcendental that took the whole movie to a different level. And that work of, I've listened to, Ryan write, about writing that when he had it in the script and then realizing that when he put it in the film. And that is the moment of creation. That is a lightning bolt you hold in your hand that he had. And when you have that, it just transports everyone who watches it. And that's something that I think is a solely human process. Can you make Superman fight so and so because your AI will do it? 100% you can do it. And it's fun to see for 2 seconds. And I think in the beginning we watched it a lot, and already when you see it now, you're like, yeah, I've seen that before. Even the Kang thing, when it came on, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, I've seen it. I didn't even watch it to the end. I was like, because it's just got no feeling to it. Like it's just it's a regurgitation. It's just a remix as opposed to something like I want to hear a new song every once in a while.
Yeah, like it's the art of creation is the art of making choices. And each choice, each story, each thing that you've seen that you've loved, each thing that you've seen that you've hated has been a group of people making choices one after another after another. AI makes no choices. You know, it will never make the weird choice. It'll never make the random choice. It'll never make the wild hair up its ass choice and then have to defend that choice to everybody else who's making the thing. Ryan has to write that into the script. We're going to have a fucking time traveling dance sequence, which itself is a crazy fucking idea. They just got to explain that idea to every one of the 300 people working on that movie, every member of Warner Brothers that has to go sell that movie. You know, they all have to buy in because he made a weird fucking choice that's extraordinary, but nobody else makes that choice.
Yeah.
And so, unless you have somebody who's willing to do the thing that nobody else would think of, to make a series of choices that nobody else could land on, and then convince other people to do that, AI can't. It just can't because it is the aggregate of a bunch of choices smoothed out and paved over and delivered to you because you asked to see fucking Tony Stark beat up Kangs.
The comeback, which Lisa Kudrow is, doing on HBO now, it's third and final season, and they've never done seasons in a row. They did a season fucking 20 years ago, then they did a season 5 years ago or something, and now they're doing the third and final season. And this year's plot line is she's on a sitcom that's secretly being written by AI. So like, they're like, we need they're shooting live on the stage. They're like, we need a better joke. That joke bombed. And like the AI is like, the kid's like, I printed out 145 jokes. So like, we can't do 145 alts. Like, pick the best three. And he's like, how? So last week's episode had, or the week before, had James L. Brooks, not James L. Brooks, James, who's the guy who did Cheers, all the episode of Cheers?
Oh, James Burrows.
Jimmy Burrows.
Yeah.
So he was on the first season of the comeback years ago and stuff, and he came back for this season. And Jim Burrows has directed something ridiculous like 10,000 hours of fucking sitcoms and stuff over the course of his career, including some of the most successful sitcoms of all time, your Cheers, your Frasers, your so forth and so on. So he like tells her at one point he wants to get off the show. He directed the pilot, but he doesn't want to continue on the show. And she's like, why? And he has this kind of, I'm not going to do it justice, but he has a rather eloquent explanation where he says, like, yeah, the machine is fast and yeah, it can spit out jokes, but he's going, you got a bunch of these people who are just fucking broken and have had these terrible lives, and these beautiful broken people all gather in a circle and take their pain and try to turn it into laughs. And he's going, you don't have that. You don't have a sitcom. You don't have a writer, like, at the end of the day. And it's so true that what's missing is you can feed the program, the algorithm, AI, whatever the fuck, everything that everyone's ever done, and it can get fucking close, but it'll always be missing the, like, I fucking raised my hand at one point and gave out an answer when I was in third grade, and I fucking farted when I did it. And so they called me Fart Answer Boy for fucking 12 years of my life. And it really fucking hurt. But one day I'm sitting on a sound stage shooting a sitcom, and fucking Fart Answer Boy is a runner that I could throw in there, and it becomes like that sitcom's defining fucking episode and or moment and shit. And it's true. It's like, I hadn't thought about it until they put it that way. It's the pain that a machine does. A machine could probably approximate joy because there's so much of that, and there's like, you could see joy, but like lived experience, like a machine will never know what it feels like to be fucking cringe, to say something where like, why did I do that? To tell somebody you fucking love them and they're like, oh, I don't feel that way about you. That's what makes writing recognizable, relatable, like, is pain more than anything else, man. Because that on the human spectrum, I think that's probably the most difficult thing to fake. Like you can fake joy, but it's really tough to fake fucking heartbreak, man. Like not everyone can fake cry even. Real pain comes from a real place, and that's where real comedy tends to come from, is pain.
And one of my favorite signs from the Writers Guild strike, whenever that was now, like 3 years ago. Yeah, it's exactly. Was AI has never had its heart broken.
Yeah.
You know, and like you can't do this unless you've been through some shit. And AI has never been through some shit. And the way everybody can go through the same thing differently. It's like, yeah, no egg will crack the same way twice. They'll crack, but the pattern, the web pattern of fracture is always different. And that's why every writer is different, because we've all been fucking broken. We've all been shattered by something or another, and we put ourselves back together again, but we're all fucked up in a slightly different way. And that's why some writers are slightly different than others. Every writer is slightly different than the others, even if I write science fiction, he writes science fiction. I write comics, you write comics, whatever it is, but they're not going to be the same comic. Never going to be the same comic, because we're broken in just the right way.
Speaking of broken in just the right way, Brad wrote Spider-Man meets Superman. What are they calling it? Spider-Man, Superman, or Spider-Man?
It's Spider-Man. Yeah, DC did Superman, Spider-Man. We're doing Marvel. Ours is Spider-Man, Superman.
But is it like Spider-Man / Superman, or
that's it? Number one. Each one gets a number one. Ours is I think it says like all new, all spectacular Spider-Man / Superman.
What is why are they suddenly playing nice? What do they know? Is the world ending?
Everybody likes money, baby.
Yeah, they're like, why?
No, I mean, you know what? The truth is, I don't know if you know this, but for 25 years now, every year on my birthday, I reach out to the editor-in-chief of Marvel and the editor-in-chief, whoever is in charge at DC. I used to be Dan DiDio and Joe Quesada back when we started. I used to reach out to them every year on my birthday, and I would ask them, can I write JLA Avengers? And every year, Joe and Dan would say, you cannot write JLA Avengers. And the next year, I would call up again and say, can I write JLA Avengers? And I didn't care. I'm like, I don't care if you guys aren't doing it now. And somewhere along the way, whether it was Jim and Marie or whether, I don't know who did it, but somewhere people were like, that will be fun again. I don't know if it happened because when George Perez died, they put his JLA Avengers back in print as like, to honor him. And I think they gave even some of the proceeds to his family. I don't know if that kind of led a thing like, hey, maybe we can actually get along now. But whatever it was, I got a phone call from Nick Lowe at Marvel. And I'm sure same with you. And Kev, you were on. I saw your Green Arrow Daredevil story, right? You get that phone call. I picked up the phone. They're like, "You want to do something?" I'm like, "I can't do anything. I got the novel coming out. I'm working on the Viper. I'm doing that." And he said, "You're not listening." I said, "What?" And he says, "Do you want to do Spider-Man, Superman?" And I literally said to him, I was just dumbfounded, but I said, "Are you doing JLA Avengers?" And he said, "We're not doing JLA Avengers. As far as I know right now, we're not doing it." I said, and I can't say no. You can't say no to that call. So I don't know how it happened or why it happened, but the people at DC and the people at Marvel, they're sweethearts. And they really realized, this is what I think the fans want to see. And let's actually give it to them. And they let me, there was truly, it said you could do whatever you want. And that's what we did.
Who's your artist?
Pepe Larraz, who's on Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man right now, and you know him from his work on X-Men. He did those amazing, beautiful Hickman stories on X-Men. Who's just, his work is breathtaking, and my story is, and I could talk about it now. I mean, I won't ruin the big surprise, but basically, it opens up with Spider-Man and Superman are literally in a cave and they're just trapped. And you don't even know how they got there. Because I'm like, it doesn't matter. Just put them in the middle. Just start in the middle of the film. And as they're talking, you can see they've been hit by something. He's like, what do you hit by? What they hit us with? And he's like, kryptonite, magic, maybe both. I don't even know. But they're clearly totally, they've been knocked on their ass. And Superman looks around and he x-rays Spider-Man. And Spider-Man's like, why are you x-raying me? He's like, well, I got to make sure you don't have kryptonite in your utility belt. And he's like, what kind of lunatic puts kryptonite in his utility belt? And needless to say, we have fun with them. The whole issue is them in this cave, and the ceiling just starts coming in, and all of a sudden a pumpkin bomb comes in. It opens up, kryptonite comes out of it, And Superman's like, this is how they're going to kill me. And they're going to crush us. They're going to weaken me. And every panel just gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And they're being crushed by it. And it's just them for 3/4 of the issue. It's them talking about what happens at the end here and why they do what they do. And I was just like, and I won't ruin the ending because there is a surprise and there is, of course, what happens and why it's really happening. But it let me play with the, we all want to play. We always say play with the toys, but it wasn't play with the toys. It was examine the differences between these perfectly, and I mean perfectly honed characters. And they're so close, right? They both do so much good. They both have the best hearts. They both will never give up. But one is built of hope and one is built out of guilt. And that's where the whole crux of the story kind of starts shifting. And it's a fun one.
Who did you find yourself more adept at scripting?
That's a good question. It's funny. I've written Superman before plenty of times. I know this sounds crazy, but I find when you deal with when you deal with these characters, they're so realized and have been rendered in time over such a long period of time. You know when something's wrong and you know when something's right. And what I really liked is having like I didn't know this, I didn't plan this, right? The best thing is, as Mark was saying before, is when something surprises you. And what surprised me was I was like, oh, Superman kind of like laughs at his jokes because he's there's one moment where, Superman's like, everyone else would groan at Spider-Man's jokes, and Superman's like, oh, you're funny. And
Right.
Spider-Man's like, Spider-Man says to him, you give really good pep talks, like he realizes like you're really good at, and they know each other, but they're meeting each other. And I think for me, I don't know why, but Superman comes more naturally to me. And I actually think Superman is one of the hardest characters to write around everyone else because he's always so good. But when you put him, what I found to me is when I put him around Spider-Man, Spider-Man beats himself up. And I know what Superman does when he sees someone beat himself up, and that's to help. He
Mm.
can't help himself. And I didn't realize, I've written a couple stories now, and I think this is just my own life. I spent a lot of my life with my dad in a complicated relationship with my dad where I just carried his crap around with me. And I'm going to tell you, there's a little long way around to get to it, but you'll understand. My dad, when I was younger, when I was in college, we ran out of money. He was putting me through college, and they kicked me out of college, and they said, no one's paid your bill, and I was like, oh, Dad, and so they took me out and said I had to get loans, and I got loans quickly, and they let me stay, and so quicksand became solid ground. And then when I graduated, I moved to Boston and had a new job, and I got my home address changed, and all the mail started coming to me, and all the mail that started coming to me was I got $40,000 of credit card debt. And I was like, and on credit cards I didn't open for myself. My dad had used these credit cards to basically that's how he was paying for my college. All those credit cards you get to say, hey, kid, you want a new credit card? The ones you probably used to make clerks, right? You took out all those credit cards. Like my dad did it to I was in debt. I was paying my bills. They said, if you want to get out of debt, you got to basically report your dad to the authorities. It's fraud. You got to send him to police. And I'm like, I'm not ratting out my dad. So I made deals with all the companies. We paid them off over years and years. Quicksand becomes solid ground. But eventually you get hit in the back of the head enough, you start looking over your shoulder. And eventually, when my dad finally passed, I got to make peace with him. I got to forgive him. And I realized that I was carrying around all this anger and all this pain of my dad and all the headache he caused me. But I realized when I just looked at it in a different way, my dad was just trying to do the best he could. He just didn't have an education. He never went to a 4-year college. He didn't have any, like, he didn't know what to do. He was just doing his best. And once I had that shift, the whole thing shifted. And you'll see that when they're in this cave, I don't think it's a coincidence that as I was dealing with that with my dad and losing my dad and forgiving him, I wrote this story about these two heroes that are in this cave that's shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And the moment they shift their perspective and realize that, like, maybe this isn't the cave we think it is, that the weight comes off. And that's all Superman's trying to do, is trying to lift the weight of guilt off Spider-Man. And it's just a natural thing for him. So it wound up becoming, that's a long-winded way of saying it, this very personal story, like what Mark was talking about before, like dealing with your own pain and figuring it out, is that's all I was doing, is just trying to relieve my own guilt and my own, the things I wish I did. And then I carried around with him, and knowing that that's a heavy burden to carry around, and that, man, I wish someone like Superman would come and take that off my shoulders. And physically, I just have Spider-Man the whole time, is just because Superman's dying from kryptonite. Spider-Man's just holding this thing and holding this thing and holding this thing. And at one point, Superman says to him, when I looked in your body with the x-rays, I can see on your bone density, you shouldn't be able to hold this. And Spider-Man's like, I'm stubborn like that. And he's beyond what anyone can do. And I love the fact you get to put these two together.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful. You're like, I have a long-winded, that ain't long-winded. That's beautiful.
I appreciate it.
And I do
just, I
love
mean, that's the thing, is I didn't realize till the end. Like in the end, I'm like, oh, why did I write these stories? Because I wrote another story where they're trapped under their thing. I'm like, that's something that's just fucking in here. I'm still trying to deal with. Like, I'm still trying to switch my own perspective and lighten my own load.
Yeah, I mean and I don't know if you feel this way. I've begun to feel this way. Is that everything has to be about something? You know, like when I was younger and working on stuff, and it's like, oh man, it's just fun, super. So it'll just be fun. It'll just be a lark. It'll be whatever, just fun car chases and shootouts. And as I've gotten, some more miles on the odometer, it's if you have the opportunity to tell a story, that should be about something. It can't just be fun for fun's sake. And I don't think even the comics I read as a kid ever were, because all of those guys in the 70s and 80s and early 90s were going through some shit. I couldn't tell what they were going through, but the stories all had floors to them. The quicksand was over. They all had fucking basements, and those basements were always pain in some form or another. And so now when I come to this stuff, when I come to, work for hire stuff, when I come to like, hey, do you want to do this Star Wars thing? Do you want to do this Wolverine thing? It's like, yeah, let me figure out what it's about first. Like, let me see what I can say using these characters as the tools to say it. Because if you have eyeballs coming to it, if you have, people devoting time and attention, there needs to be a basement to this stuff. There needs to be a foundation to it. It's got to be about something. Otherwise, why?
And that's the thing. You'll see in the thing, because I don't want to ruin the ending for you guys.
I read it. I
know you read it. But right? I know, because I texted to you guys that ending and what it's all about. I didn't start page 1 until I knew that ending. And I was like, because of course the goal when they give you Spider-Man and Superman, you're like, well, let's make them fight and let's make them do this and let's bring in these characters. And the villain reveal and the thing that happens and all that stuff, that's all fun, but that is all a MacGuffin, because I was like, I want to get at the core of these characters, and I'm not starting this book until I figure out what these two are struggling with, what's going to change within them, and what's going to, and Peter is a different person by that end. And I don't mean a different, Spider-Man doesn't need to change anywhere for me, right? I don't own this character. Yeah, all we got to do is get out of their way and let them tell their stories and let them show their pain. And I spent like a couple months just thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about going like, what's the best thing these characters can say about us? Like, what am I dealing with? What do I want to say? And when I cracked it, Mark, I wrote that entire story on a plane ride from London back to the US. It was that 7-hour flight. I wrote the whole script in it, but I had to think about it for over a month, and then the whole thing poured out in one sitting. And I've never written like that in my life. I've never had a plane ride where the moment we were taking off to the moment we were landing, I was clicking away and going, I got this fucking thing. I got it. And I felt like it was like a 50 years in the making story for me, where I just was like, I finally felt like I had some take on those characters. And you could talk about it. I mean, you've read it, so it's fun for me.
But it's my favorite. I don't know for you what your favorite part of writing is. My favorite part is when it's coming so fast I have to hold on. Like when the story, when all of the back brain work is being done and you've let it simmer and percolate. It could be a month, it could be years, but once the fucking last dial on the safe clicks and the door opens, you're just trying to fucking hold on because it's all there and it's all coming, and you're just like, I don't know if I can write fast enough because it's just coming. You're downhill. Downhill's
Yeah. And Spider-Man and Superman, they're again, they're so well established that you just have to get out of the way, right? They really, I know it's so pretentious to say they write themselves, because obviously it takes a lot of hard work and takes a lot, Pepe and Pepe, let me just, I should stop for a second. Pepe elevated everything I did. And this, when you work with a comic artist, you have what you put in the script and you have all your ideas, and everyone thinks we're all think we're suddenly directors. And I got every shot. I do shot by shot. I do worm's eye view, up, down. I lay out the page. I literally wrote I drew him a thumbnail for the whole thing. And he kept adding beats to it. There's that moment where when they're under and Clark finally puts his hand up, there's a little smile that he adds, and that little beat is all Pepe. Like there's a little beat at the end when Peter laughs that is all Pepe. There's he just found that extra humanity in it where he knew I needed that physical pause. And I love when you work with a comic artist that makes your stuff even better. And Matt, Mac coloring it was killing it, and Clayton as lettering. Usually I'm a pain in the ass, and I'm like, move it here, move it here. Eliopoulos wants to kill me because I'm moving everything, and it was like this team. When it's just all clicking, it just clicked. These guys everything felt elevated. Everyone knew they were working on they've only met 3 times, and this is the 50th anniversary of Spider-Man Superman first meeting. And I got to write the words, Marvel Comics and DC Comics proudly present the 50th meeting, of Spider-Man. And you're just like, you're typing the words and going, I remember the first book. I have them. I have that Batman Hulk. I have that Spider-Man Superman. I have those books where they were bigger than they were Superman Muhammad Ali size.
The treasury size.
The treasuries. Book. And I went and grabbed mine, and I thought it was in perfect condition. That thing looked like I threw it in a wood chipper. I mean, my original edition is I read that thing 1,000 times. And to be able to work on it, I was like, I'm not giving this anything but the best I got. And my novel, truly, don't tell my publisher, was delayed because of it. But I was like, I don't care, because I'm going to work on this right now and give it everything I got.
Can I ask a nerd question? A writing nerd question, very specific. When I write comics, or when I'm writing for characters that were never mine but that I've loved, I'm generally writing some other writer's version of the character, one particular writer whose voice or their take on that character rang the loudest and true for me. So when you're writing Superman and when you're writing Spider-Man, which writer specifically?
That's good.
Superman are you writing, and which writer's Spider-Man are you writing? For example, when I wrote Batman and Green Arrow when he met the JLA, I was writing the Batman from Justice League, from JLA, from JLE, the Maguire and
that was great.
That Batman. When I'm writing Batman not with the Justice League, I was always writing Frank Miller's Batman. Same with Daredevil, I was usually writing Frank Miller's Daredevil. So when I'm writing the dialogue in my head, I'm hearing how the character was written by them. So who was the writer you think you heard the most in your head when writing Superman and Spider-Man?
Yeah, so I love that question. I'll say this, and this is terrible, but I actually don't think of anyone. I have to think of my version. I have to do my take on it. But I will say, of course, we're all influenced by the great ones that we love. And if you ask me who my favorite Superman is, it's some twist between, All-Star Superman meets Whatever Happened to Man of Tomorrow meets Jeff Loeb and, Superman for All Seasons. Those books like that, Loeb and Tim Sale have that Clark Kent Smallville thing that is just perfect to me. But I don't think of them at all when I'm writing it. I'm just writing my own version. And then when it comes to Spider-Man, it's funny. I think it's just good old Amazing Spider-Man number 33, where he's trapped under the thing. And that Spider-Man that, that's it. It's just that.
Spider-Man.
It's the kid. And the same thing from Tom Holland. It's that the core, my friend, Judd Winnick and I always talk about the Albert Brooks, the core of the nest egg. The core of the nest egg for Spider-Man is being trapped under that thing that he should not be able to lift. And he is going to fucking lift this thing no matter what. And he shouldn't be able to, and it should be impossible. But there's so much heart in this kid that nothing's impossible. I will root for that fucking underdog every time. And that's the Spider-Man I write. It's not a person, it's not a writer. The Superman I write he is all powerful. He can crush everybody. He can win every time. Every time. And you know what? I probably write the Superman from the Superman movie. I probably write Christopher Reeve is who I'm writing. In fact, I very much think I write Christopher Reeve more than anything I even said. Those are the comics I like best. But is that guy who was raised by two people in Kansas, and the most important part of Superman is not Superman. The most important part of Superman is Clark Kent, because we're all Clark Kent, and we all know what it's like to be boring and ordinary and wish we could do something beyond ourselves. And he is Superman because he's raised by those people in Kansas, and they make him fucking good. And that's the thing I write. It's not a comic book writer, honestly. It's just it's a very central belief system that I feel like I get to channel, and it's one that has moved me and affected me, and probably had what I'm really channeling is these characters that have the biggest impact on me. Like, I want to be that person that, even though we had nothing growing up and we had everything we needed, make no mistake, but I was gonna fucking push harder than anybody. I tell my kids all the time, I'm not the best writer, but I'll try to outwork everybody. I will just hold that mountain, as whatever's happened to my dad, whatever's happened to my mom, no matter what crap we're going through, I'm going to hold the mountain. And their strength gave me strength growing up. And Superman taught me to be a better person. Mom and Pa Kent didn't just teach Clark Kent, they taught me how to be a good person. And that's what I channel.
I do love that those two characters are like city mouse, country mouse.
For sure.
But both of them are kind of about the same thing, right?
And
which is
the
like,
same, they're so perfect.
How can you be a good person despite awful things happening to you? And it is just the environment that helps push you to be better than you could have been without it. It's like, yeah, what happens to Peter Parker and what happens to Clark Kent are awful, but there is still love that helps guide them and counsel them and push them to greater heights. But it's very much urban, what that love is, what that pressure is of living in New York versus Kansas,
and also just that, he blames himself. Peter blaming himself is it's the greatest origin of all time. I don't care what, it's the best origin of all this. I love Batman's origin. I love Superman's origin. I think those are 2 and 3. But man, Peter Parker's origin of it, just like I'm going to hold it all myself and it's my fault, is Shakespearean. It's Shakespearean. It's breathtaking. And you get all the, and that's why Tom Holland in the movies does it so well. You feel that kid's pain. That scene with him and Tony Stark when in Civil War, that 8 minutes is those are my favorite 8 minutes in all the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You can, even the fight at the end, I love him catching the hammer, but man, give me Peter Parker just saying, when bad things happen and I don't stop them, it's like I did it. And you feel this kid dying inside. And he never says Uncle Ben, and he never says great responsibility. He never says anything, but you feel his pain, and that it doesn't matter. He's still going to go out here in his janky ass uniform with a shitty ass mask, and he's going to fucking fight for you. I mean, like John Lennon says, man, a working class hero is something to be.
I saw this clip of Tom Holland on some talk show. I think he was out doing the press rounds for Civil War at the time. And he said that his audition scene for the movie was that scene with him and Tony in his bedroom. And he said, and then they cut it. And it was an 8-page scene when he and RDJ were rehearsing. That's the scene that got him the job. And then when they get to the stage, they had cut all of that shit out of the script. And the Russos were like, listen, something's got to go. This movie's timing out at, 2.5 hours. We got to cut something. And RDJ was the one who says, let's shoot all of it. You're going to want it. Like, even if you cut it later, let's shoot it so you have it.
I was
The
just
kid was
talking about this
great
with
at
Jeff. We were
this.
just talking about this moment. It's fucking brilliant, right? He
Yeah,
saves the whole thing.
yeah. It's like if
And
you
I
don't have
said
those 8
that
minutes,
thing is so embedded in me that that story's in my feed. It comes up regularly because I know it
mm,
knows I love it so much. But I think for me, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. My family all lives in Queens. When I was growing up, I wasn't from Kansas. Like
mm,
I needed that strength. My family got beaten down on. My dad lost his job. We lost everything. You know, he had $1,200 name. I remember I went, my parents moved to Florida. I never tell this story, but I'll tell it. And we had no money for a security deposit. So we had to move in with my grandparents. And it was 6 of us, my mom, my dad, my sister, myself, and 2 grandparents, 6 of us in a 1-bedroom apartment. And everyone in the condominium in Florida was trying to kick us out because they're like, you have too many people in one small space. And they were right. We did. But they were trying to evict us every day. And as a kid, you know, it was too many people, but I was terrified of being evicted. And this woman across the hallway from my grandmother, she sees what's happening to us and she says, you know what, I'm going to move out for a little bit. And she says to my grandmother, why don't your family take my apartment, and that way they won't be evicted, you can have some space for yourself. To this day, the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for my family. And I remember her name was Mercy, but as a kid I always heard her name as Mercy. And make no mistake, mercy and empathy is what she showed us.
mm.
And I don't forget that. Like, that woman was a superhero to me. Like, she just came in with that kindness and changed the whole trajectory of our lives, gave us a little moment to stand and like to save up for a security deposit, get our first, you know, like little tiny apartment that we had where my sister didn't even have a wall. She literally slept in the living room. Um, and Peter Parker for me was just that thing that made me feel like, keep going, man. You can keep going. Like, even though you got nothing, even though every day your family's got, your dad's struggling, they're doing the best, everyone's busting ass, hold the fucking shit up. Just hold it up. It wasn't like, I think right now we turn it into like, that's a cool scene to find. It was reality to me. That felt real. I needed that strength. So my belief that that strength was forever, it may have not been true, but I needed to believe it was true to go forward.
You write the spider because that's what brings them in the door. But what keeps them in their seats is the man.
Yeah.
Super gets them in the door, kids, but what keeps them coming back is the man part. Like Super and Spider, these are the trailers. You know, they'll show you all the sexy and all the wow, look at that. But what keeps you coming back, what keeps you in the story is not the daring do and the feats of inhuman strength. It's the feats of human strength that the man character, the human character at the heart of every masked hero shows and brings to the table, man. Like, you know, there's a reason why you were just talking about all that Peter Parker stuff. There's a reason Stan and Steve Ditko kind of put him through his paces as he's trying to make ends meet. He's, even though he is a hero, he's getting sand kicked in his face. He was like one of the first superheroes that had problems that like the audience
We
could relate
understood.
to, and you're carrying that forward in a grand tradition, man. You've always been able to bring the super and the spider and stuff, the wonder. But I think what keeps people coming back for your stuff is you do the human at the center of it oh so well. And as we heard from the story you just told, comes from a place of deep humanity.
No, I appreciate it. Listen, vice versa. You know how, I mean,
We ain't here to blow me, Meltzer.
no,
All
but
about
listen,
you. And
that's all I want to do is no, but it's what Mark was saying, right? Is like that, and not that like, oh, we got to slit our wrists and make art, you know. It's not like any of us are like, you know, but I just think that these characters are so beautifully strong and have held so much weight, and going, just to bring it back to what you were saying before, like the reason they're quote unquote in style is not because superheroes are cool again or that genre is working now, but it's because we need that strength more than ever right now.
mm,
As a culture, we need that strength. As we silo away in our little boxes, we need that strength. We're not connected anymore in the way we are, But when you see that moment of that kid, or you see the kindness of Clark Kent, you feel like you're not alone. And man, is that the best thing that a story can give someone, is to be a companion and just make you feel like you're not alone. And when I look back, and I know all of us, like, there weren't a lot of people who liked comics when we were little. They all liked them, but they just weren't all together. Like now we can go and you can have a podcast. You got all these people listening. We could all talk about geek stuff. We find each other instantly. But back in the day, I remember coming to your house, Kevin. I was just happy to be around 10 people that like comics. Remember when me and Michael Turner and Jeff and Bendis, we all came to, and I was just like, wow, there's a group of people that like comics. That's a cool thing. That's easy now. That's simple now. And I think when these characters make you feel less alone, that's why they're so relevant right now. That's why we need them more than ever right now. That's why, they're not going to be the Davy Crockett's.
Nice. Ooh, look at you bringing it back. Fucking well done. There's a writer, kids. You just heard a writer in action, and you watched him speak too. The book comes out right now on the East Coast because it's like 1:00 there. And for us on the West Coast, it's out in the morning, man. It is Spider-Man, Superman. The author of Kids is Brad Meltzer, of course. You've been with us 2 hours. I don't want to presuppose.
Listen, dude, I love you, man. Every time we get together, we wind up doing like a long thing. Can we talk? We do need. And if you got to go, let's do it. But the only thing we didn't check on your list is Acme. I want to hear what you thought of Acme.
Excellent fucking point. Of the stuff way back when we started the show, we were like, oh my God, let's bring Meltzer in and talk about all this cool shit. So we talked about Daredevil. We talked about Mandalorian and Grogu. And then we talked about a lot of shit, but we didn't land with one of the things that somebody had mentioned. I think it was Mark at the beginning, the Coyote versus Acme trailer, which Ketchup releasing, not Warner Brothers, go fucking figure, is putting out there. Is made by Warner Brothers, but Ketchup Releasing is putting it out. I mean, who knows who owns Warner Brothers right now, and if that goes forward and all that stuff. But the trailer is phenomenal, and it makes you go like, why did they give this up? Like, this is legacy fucking shit. This is my childhood writ large, with somebody going like, oh, what happened if they went to court? Wouldn't that be funny? Like, just makes no sense to me.
I just can't believe John Cena. Did you know John Cena was in it? I did not know Cena was in it. I had no idea. I knew obviously Will Forte. I did not know. And I'm like, dude, that's a big guy to put in that movie.
I had no idea it was such a prominent part. Like, or at least from the trailer, it looks like, oh my God, he's way the fuck up in this. Great stuff though, man. Like, it made me happy. And I love Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies, and I'm not trying to be controversial. This is not a hot take, but of all the characters, when Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote popped up, that was when I go to the bathroom, grab a drink. They weren't my faves, man. So that being said,
listen, you're a verbal guy. There's no verbiage. That's it.
Totally. But you would imagine Silent Bob would love the fucking shit out of that. But that's just a character that I play. So yeah, I'm with you. It's all dialogue. I'm a dialogue guy, and there ain't no dialogue in those. But
no, of course, it was the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner show, and I was like, I don't know anyone who liked the Roadrunner part more. I don't think that's. I mean, it was
Chuck
Bugs
Jones.
Bunny was the head.
Chuck Jones is who liked the Roadrunner more.
Oh, he did. He liked them more.
Oh my God! Like, he's the guy who gave us so much Roadrunner and Coyote and Roadrunner. That was one of his, as much as he did duck season, rabbit season, and whatnot. He kind of defined Coyote, I think. Am I wrong?
He had those rules of how a Roadrunner Coyote cartoon should go. Like, Coyote will never catch Roadrunner. Like 10 rules of how it could never, in these cartoons, these will never happen. The Roadrunner will never do anything offensive against the Coyote. Coyote will always fail because he will hoist himself by his own petard. Like, it's akin to those like Pixar rules of storytelling, and they're brilliant. But yeah, that was very much his like, can we just do this visually? Can we not have you need to read anything or listen to anything? Could this be, I'm sure he wasn't thinking an international audience at the time, but could anybody watch this and get it? you know.
I
And
actually think this is going to be, I don't, maybe it's not Acme is going to be, but I think Looney Tunes is a perfect example, Kev, of what you were talking about before in terms of like, because it still needs to find its next gear.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it's saying about society right now. No offense to it. I love it. I mean, I watched that when you remember that episode. I think it's Duck Amuck, like where Daffy Duck and the guy could erase him and put. I mean, I've watched that episode a billion times. It is when I was a kid, I would just wait for that one to come on. I'd wait for obviously What's Opera Doc
Also
to come
Chuck
on.
Jones.
Of course, oh
Mhm.
no, they were all Chuck Jones. I mean, the bet, of course, and the old stuff was spectacular. I'm in touch with Chuck's family, and they're the nicest people in the whole planet.
Are you doing a I Am Chuck Jones one day?
No, but they want me to do an I Am Chuck Jones book, and they know that I want to buy some Chuck Jones art, and that's what and so it's a so yeah, we're working on it. But
Stalemate.
I love the family; they're sweethearts. But I will say all the the Space Jam or whatever the thing that they sell it to, all that like there's no new gear in there. And I don't know how those movies do, but they don't seem to be doing as well as they did. And that's going to be the test. Like, how much do you just love the character doing the same thing by the same rule in a world where Pixar's doing Toy Story and you are at the end of each of those movies sobbing because you're worried Woody's going to leave, or sobbing because they reset Buzz, or feeling like, I mean, those movies have third and fourth and fifth and 19th gears, and you got a cartoon that really the only changes is now it's 3D instead of 2D animation.
Yeah, somebody needs to convince Warner Brothers to allow somebody to get under the hood and find that
Yeah,
new
and those characters are beautiful characters, but they got to say something more. You know what I did find as a breath of fresh air, and this is maybe I'm alone on this, but I like that Bugs Bunny's appearance wasn't "What's up, Doc,"
Mm.
and that he took out the contraction and did the whole thing. What is up, Doc? I was like, okay, at least someone's playing against the thing that we know. It's like, say the catchphrase, and I didn't do it. I like that they at least someone finally said, just let him do something a little different once.
Here's my controversial hot take on the last new iteration of Looney Tunes that made an impact. And, I know that a lot of people would argue Space Jam and whatnot, but since I'm not a sports enthusiast, that didn't do much for me. I think it was Tiny Toons.
Tiny Toons was great.
I think that's the last time somebody was like, oh, you know what? Like, I think I found a way into Looney Tunes and they got how many episodes out of that? Feels like
they got a lot
for fucking years.
That was like a heyday. That was like Pinky and the Brain. I mean, they were crushing it back then. That was a good time. Animaniacs was killing it. Like,
there is an example
Freakazoid.
of a mention of Looney Tunes and the Warner Brothers brand. And, there were things that they didn't reinvent like Freakazoid, but fit very well within
it
the
felt
world.
like it was right in the universe. Yeah. It's just a take. And again, it's just a take. And those characters are great. But that's going to be the question. That's a good full circle moment.
All right, let me make some calls.
Yeah, get on the fucking horn. Meltzer, do you want to be here while we sell things, or do you want to jump?
I'm going to jump just because I'm on the East Coast.
Oh my God, it's like 1 a.m. for you.
You're a fucking stayer.
I love you guys. No, listen, anytime, anywhere. You know that. Love you.
Everyone in chat was blowing you up, so happy with the things you said and shit. They're like, this guy, fucking, he knows what he's talking about, the truth and stuff. Everyone loves to fucking hear from you. And
that's just my relatives who moved me from the 15 spot to the 1. They're just on that shit. They're like, that's their version. I would, if my mother knew, my dad used to go into Barnes Noble every week. May he rest in peace. And he would go, I'm here for Brad Meltzer's new book. He's my favorite author. And they're like, Mr. Meltzer, we know he's your son. We know he's your son. So I'd love anyone, whoever's doing that out there, if I'm related to you or not. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Spider-Man, Superman in stores right now on the East Coast, and right in a couple hours when you wake up in the morning on the West Coast, kids.
It'll be there
at your LCS, your local comic shop. Meltzer, the bridge between two worlds, DC and Marvel held.
And listen, and I'll end if you can. Ghost Machine. Are you reading Ghost Machine? Because you got to read that. That's what we're doing. That's my next comic work. Is going to be First Ghost with Jeff Johns and I are writing it together.
Where is it? Where are you doing it?
So we're doing it at Ghost Machine, is this company that we built. And Jeff there's a lot of great books there. You should you'll like Redcoat and some of the other books there. But we're going to do First Ghost. It's me, Jeff, and Gene Haas drawing it. And he's,
That's gorgeous.
he's awesome.
That's
It's
awesome.
gorgeous.
Awesome,
it's
man.
like a Gene you wait for, but it's worth the wait. It's beautiful. So check out all the Ghost Machine books too.
I'm a Ghost Machine
story in
fan.
there.
I'm a Ghost
appreciate
Machine
that.
fan. My friend Lamont McGee is part
Lamont,
of
the man. He
it.
is the
So
man.
yes, I root for you guys every chance I can.
Well, we love you for it, man. Same thing, vice versa. Everybody's stuff. This is a love fest. Enjoy selling stuff.
Will do, man. Everyone give it up for the great Brad Meltzer, everybody. As he melts away.
Indeed.
Love you, bud.
Love you, man. Excellent chit chat. God, he gives good content.
Sweetheart of a man.
That man knows how to use his mouth all over us and shit. Speaking of using mouths, let's use ours to give it out to tonight's sponsor, kids.
Who waited 2 hours for us to get to their ad copy.
I know they probably left and shit, but we're still going to shout them out regardless. You know what that is? You know who they are. They've been with us for forever, and now they've penetrated the mainstream. So who knows if they'll even need us any longer, kids. I'm talking about the good folks at Mando, man. Our one and only sponsor for this evening. Some men mask their BO with sense. Mando men get the job done right, man. Don't mask it, Mando it. Head to shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Because for a limited time, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use that code FATMAN, all one word, FATMAN, at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide, for heaven's sakes. Shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you, man. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness, kids. Are we all on the Mando page together? Good.
Let's do it.
Shall we? Love this product, man. Actually use their products. Actually happy that these cats have been sponsors all this time, man, because Mando keeps it fucking fresh, kids. You need to keep it fresh, man. Sometimes your pits, fucking balls, everything stanks. This whole fucking world stanks. Let's be honest. You know how you clean this stanky world up? Mando.
Hell yeah. Because spring is in the air, man. The fucking weather's getting hot. We're all going outside. We're doing fucking hiking and long walks and fucking like standing in line for movies. Remember we used to do that shit? How awesome it was. I'm going to be spending a little bit of time on a television set come later this summer. And like, I don't want to be smelling bad. I don't want people to be looking at me. I don't want fucking Kratos to be like cock-eyeing me because I stink. Nah, man. Mando is going to make that better. Why? Because I've started using Mando whole body deodorant. And then like some other DOs that I've tried, it can handle fucking anything.
Like, here's what I love personally about Mando. Aside from the smell, aside from the smooth, I like saying the name.
Not bad. Maybe I was wrong about that. Coming out.
You gotta be a confident company to name it Mando.
Mando.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I use it all over my body, man. And let me tell you something. My wife appreciates it.
Yeah, baby.
She did make a comment one day. She was like, "You smell good." I was like, "Mando good." And she was like, "Hey, this ain't a podcast, fucker. Watch The Cell." I was like, "All right, I'm sorry. It's in my blood."
I gotta do what I gotta do.
The kids, new customers over at shopmando.com get 20% off site wide with our exclusive code and link. Use the code FATMAN, all one word, FATMAN, at shopmando.com, man. They've been in our lives almost as long as we've been doing the show, it feels like.
Since we started doing ads, it's been Mando all up in it.
You come for the super, you stay for the Mando.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you. Kids, shopmando.com, America's #1 whole body deodorant. You want to try that formula right now, man? Go to shopmando.com. Some men mask their BO with sense. Mando men get the job done right. Do you hear me? Don't mask it, Mando it, man. Head to shopmando.com because for a limited time, new customers will going to get 20% off site wide with our exclusive code. Use the code FATMAN, FATMAN, all one word, at shopmando.com for 20% off site wide, man. SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you, man. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and say hello to long-lasting freshness. Shopmando.com. We thank the good folks at Mando for not only sponsoring this here show, but for waiting fucking 2 hours to be revealed.
We'll get there.
I feel like somebody in chat was like, okay, we'll talk to Brad, then we'll do the Mando ad. And I don't know who that was, but bad idea. that was a long ass chat, man, before we got to that end.
You asked for it, whoever you were.
We might have just lost Mando as a customer after that, but it was worth it because Brad was giving that good stuff, man. Oh, that's like walking into like a visiting, you're on vacation, you have to go to some other fucking church that's not your church, but the fucking priest, minister, reverend winds up giving you that good talk. You're like, oh, I wish this was my fucking church. I'm sure there's a bunch of people in the audience like, oh, I wish he was the fucking co-host of Fat Man Beyond. But who would they want to replace, Mark? Me or you?
Maybe I feel like we should have a poll.
No, I never want that. I want that poll less than on any other poll. Straight out of my house. Never mind that poll nonsense.
I will also say, like, I've known that dude, I think, as you have, for like 20 years now. I don't think he's aged a fucking day.
No, fucking like there's a picture of him up in an attic somewhere that's all ooky and kooky and creepy and spooky. But he has not aged, man. Melts don't melt.
No, clearly. Maybe doesn't ever go out in the sun, even though he lives in Florida, like stays his ass inside writing.
Fucking vampire. You're right. He's a vampire. Goddamn fang banger. Kids, I've been rewatching True Blood. Kids, 420 just passed, and look what happened, man. Jeter, my brand of smoke, has released for a sneak peek Jay and Silent Bob's Banana Hammock. That's my new strain with Jeter, man. Look at the size of this damn joint. I smoke the small ones, the little dog walkers. But for 420, we launched a business, man. If you're driving around fucking the valley right now, you will encounter one of 7, soon to be 8, billboards for Jay and Silent Bob Deliver.com. Our weed delivery business, man. I was fake dealing weed in the movies. Now I'm really dealing weed in real life. And our partners at the weed shop, which is literally called the weed shop where I buy my weed. We had a 420 event, man, where me and Jay were there signing, and the good folks at Jeter let us sneak peek our wares. And so it's the only place you can get it right now in the world. May 8th, it comes out like everywhere and stuff, every Jeter state. But right now, it's only at the weed shop and via Jay and Silent Bob Delivered.com. I had a busy 420, Mark.
I mean, did you go to the Church of Snoop and pay your respects?
Let me tell you something. Silent Bob, Jay and Silent Bob have their own church.
Ooh. There's was it a old Cheech and Chong's that went out of business and you guys moved in?
Very much so. Cheech and Chong abandoned their place. We took it over, put up a sign, handwritten, and we've been working there for 30 plus years.
Nice.
I actually saw Cheech and Chong at the Comic-Con. I was at Astronomicon. And, I've worked, of course, with Tommy Chong was in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. And I worked with him on that 90s show. He played my dad. But Cheech, I never got to spend any time with passing ships in the night. But we were taking pictures at that con at Astronomicon. I got to blow them both up and be like, kids, if you didn't do what you did, I never get to do what I did. You laid the track that my fucking trains have run on for over 3 decades, man. So thank you. It's nice when you meet your forebears.
Hell yeah. You've been on the road.
You meet your forebears, Mark, and then you eat their fucking porridge and you sleep in their beds. That's 3 bears. Sorry,
that's 3 tree bears.
Confused my stories.
Yeah, you've been on the road a lot, man.
I've been doing a lot of cons, man. I was just back east. Me and Jay shot an episode of Jay and Silent Bob are in his house, our new podcast that we're going to start soon. I did a signing at one point in Jersey, man. Bizarro #1 that me and Eric Carrasco wrote and Nick Pitara drew. How do I say this? Because they want to say it, so I can't say it. But I've been waiting for 2 weeks for them to say it. Let me just say it like this. Go try to order that book, Mark.
Is it going to be difficult to find? Might it have what's the word for it?
Let's not speak the word out loud unless my bosses get mad at me. But just if you're a comic book retailer, go try to order that book and get back to me.
I mean, have you kept your integrity, or have you? What's the opposite of keeping one's integrity? Is clearly you.
In the words of one of the artists from the rock band Kiss, you sell out every night.
See?
Yeah, I will go get your hands on some Bizarro #1 action, because if you see them at your local comic shop, your LCS.
It'll be worth something.
And if you go to Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, woo! We had Captain Ribman did an exclusive cover for us. Fucking gorgeous, man.
Nice.
In order to get an exclusive cover at DC, you got to order like 3,000 comics. So we got 3,000, but we split it between Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash and jayandsilentbob.com. So you can order them from there. But I think we're gonna wind up, I've had comics before where it's like, we'll have them for years. I don't know if we're gonna have that one for years, man. So next comic I got coming out is Bizarro #2. Bizarro Year None #2. And then 3 and 4. But in June, it's Jay and Silent Bob at Marvel, Jays of Future Past, which I've now seen all the art for. 40 fucking pages of a glorious crossover event, man. 2 universes collide, for heaven's sakes. It has been breathtaking. One of my favorite things I've ever fucking done. And today I got the lettered pass. So fucking happy. That comes out in June. Yeah, look at that cover, man.
Cool.
Oh my God. It's a thing of beauty. People, I think if you like dopey ass Kevin Smith movies and you love Marvel, I think you're gonna be tickled the fuck out of this book. And then I got some other Marvel stuff that they haven't announced yet. I've been doing a lot of comic book work. I know you're Mr. fucking TV money bucks now and shit, which reminds me, Mark, would you like to invest in a motion picture?
I'm trying to invest in my own motion pictures, sir.
God damn it. What about mine? Fuck. But yes, I have found that I've been enjoying return to the world of comics, man. Like good time. I got a very big job. I got something on my phone, Marc Bernardin, that if I put it up on this show right here, no bullshit, no lying, no fucking overstatement, I would break the internet.
Yes.
Snipers
took you out.
Oh, I seen something that would just melt minds. It's gonna melt minds, just not on my time. Somebody else is gonna pick the time. But my God, you know what that feels like, bro? Like I don't think there's been many moments in my life. I mean, maybe if I'm like, I got something that'll break the internet, and it's a photo of my dick, and I put it up on the internet. That wouldn't even break the internet. That would just make the internet go. That would ick the internet. They'd be like, look how fucking thirsty he is for attention. But I'm telling you right now, this photo I have on my phone, not a dick pic, it's an image. Not an image I drew, but somebody else, an image somebody else is responsible for. If I shared it right now, that's me cracking the internet in 20. It would break the internet. And I think you know what I'm talking about.
I believe I do as well. And
I've seen a thing,
brother.
I've seen a thing, and it was I put it up on my television screen. It was so glorious to look at.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Ooh, I can't. When I see you, I'm gonna share that image with you. It is it's pretty spellbinding. So yes, feels weird knowing that I got something that, like, when it's out there, people are gonna be like, the fuck?
How did this happen?
And we're talking not just like, hey, is Kevin Smith? I'm talking this shit is global news.
Yep.
Worldwide kind of shit. But you know, that's for another time. But I've been enjoying all the comic book work lately. It's been fun, man, playing the sandbox again. And you know, it's certainly not like, you know, and that'll pay the bills. It's not like, you know, fucking any money to play with somebody else's character, as far as I'm concerned, is fucking free money and shit. But I still have to, you know, go out and fucking do gigs and shit like that.
Where are you heading next?
I'm heading. Oh, well, thank you, Mark. Where am I heading next? Banff, man. Where the fuck you been, Banff, man? You've been awfully quiet. He's like, I quit.
Yeah.
Well, he's still hungover from his wedding.
Yeah, hungover from the wedding.
So fucking kill your echo. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
When was tell folks what you want to tell them about all this?
Well, I don't really care about my wedding as much as I care about that we're only $2,704 away from hitting 600K on our rendezvous raise. So that could be a very nice wedding present.
Excellent point, kids. You want to get JC and Jenny a gift for their fucking wedding? Why not go to scumandvillainy.com right now and back Scum and Villainy Rendezvous, man. The forthcoming what would we call it? What's that thing called where you're in the middle of, not a mirage, but fucking
Oasis?
Thank you.
Yeah.
An oasis, a space oasis that's coming to Burbank, that is going to make the Scum and Villainy Cantina on Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood look like a fucking
wonderful bar where people still come together.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be open for a few years, but still, it's basically JC's building a much bigger, better fucking bar over in Burbank with parking galore and shit like that. 2 fucking floors.
Yeah.
Of all anal action. No, all alcoholic action. Because it's a bar.
And food, technically. Restaurant.
Some food as well. You looking to drink a blue milk in real life and shit, and you don't want to pay $10,000 at Disney? Well, let me tell you something. You can go to the Scum and Villainy Cantina, Scum and Villainy Rendezvous, man. Throw up the fucking image for that shit, man. Scum and Villainy Rendezvous. There she is, man. So close to $600,000. Join up, kids. You want to give JC a wedding gift? There it is.
Yeah, you don't need fucking plates. You don't need like chinaware or luggage. He needs $2,000 for this bar.
Well, I need more than that. So if you're feeling generous, that's just the next mile. That's not just the next round number.
If you're rich and irresponsible, come on down.
The wedding was good though. It was the wedding that we had planned to do in April of 2020, and then COVID. So we had a couple children out of wedlock and then decided to get married.
I mean, not for nothing, but yes, that is his secret origin story. He ain't lying, kid. All that checks out. I was going, that's true. That's true. Oh my God, he's right. What was it like to square to circle finally?
You know, a lot of people ask, they're like, does it feel any different? You guys have known each other for 18 years. You got 2 kids, businesses, a house, the whole thing. But it does feel different having a wedding and doing the thing in front of people. Like before
people?
What yes.
Kind of wedding?
It does feel different. It's very different. And, you know, I say like, oh, my wife. And now she's actually my wife, where before I just said it because it was easier than explaining like a 10-sentence story about what happened to us. But it's super nice. We got married in the Redwood Grove up in the Bay Area. So she liked it because she's from the woods. And I liked it because it looked like Endor. One of my friends brought their daughter. That's the other thing. In 2020, we had like 55 guests and no kids. This time we had 55 guests and 18 kids. So wow. Yeah, a lot of kids this time around. But it was cool. I got to get married on Endor, which was neat. I wore Star Wars socks underneath my suit.
Very nice.
Yeah, and I had R2D2 cufflinks. So
never goes far from home, this kid.
I did. It was the most Star Wars I could squeeze into the wedding and still have Jen show up. So
you didn't have like a string quartet playing the throne room music?
No. You know what I did do though is Jen's mom and Jocelyn walked out together to the Hobbit song from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's sweet.
So that was like the geeky part of it. And I know it's silly, and we're probably gonna get beat up on the internet for saying this out loud. But Jen came out to the Maid Marian theme from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which is just the slowed down version of Everything I Do It For You, because her dream wedding from when she was a little kid, she's like, if I ever get married, I just want to have the wedding from the end of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. And that's what she essentially did, minus Sean Connery and Kevin Costner.
I was about to say, like, did you prop up Sean Connery as like a standee?
That's sweet, man. I remember that fucking instrumental piece.
The
end of that movie, that was
Richard the Lionheart.
Yeah, where he shows up, fucking James Bond shows up. And
yeah,
he's like, I should have mailed it to the Marx Brothers.
That would be $1 million.
You know, I had one thing to say earlier that I didn't interrupt Brad's wonderful story in your guys' conversation, but the thing that nobody's talking about with Mando and Grogu that I think is the big...
Yeah, I can't believe you didn't jump in during all that shit.
You guys were on a roll. I didn't want to interrupt.
Go ahead. I want to hear your take. This is fucking JC. I mean, look, the guy who owns Scum and Villainy Cantina might have a take I'm interested in.
The thing that nobody's talking about is that outside of Cowboys and Aliens, Jon Favreau has not fucked up. Like, he's never had a movie that everybody watched and was like, what was this about? This isn't good. This isn't watchable. Whether it's, you know, Iron Man, even Iron Man 2 is much better than what people give it credit for if you watch it again today. And Chef, his little movies are good. So I think like the wild card that nobody's accounting for is like people like Jon Favreau's sensibility. And so I think he will be the same way like James Gunn, people will show up for James Gunn. I think Jon Favreau is like, he's going to give you a warm hug of Star Wars that'll get people to be like, oh yeah, you should go see it. It reminded me of the greatest, an hour and 45 minutes of the greatest hits of episodes 4, 5, and 6.
You know, fingers crossed. I hope that you're right. Because like, listen, I would love for this to be entertaining. I would love for this to make money. I would love for there to be more Star Wars in the world. My biggest fear is that it is more season 3 of Mando than season 1 of Mando.
Yeah.
So, but I hope he has found a way to thread that needle, because I mean, fucking, I love X-Wings, and I love Yodas, and I love fucking laser beam fights. Not that crazy about Huts, but whatevs.
Look, dude, it's Clayface.
Have you ever seen those fucking TikTok serves this to me all the time? Those like slapping competition fucking videos where like the two dudes are standing opposite each other, or the two ladies are standing opposite each other, and they just fucking wail on each other's faces. There's one of them that I've seen where a person's face is so immediately swollen and disfigured, it looks as if their skin shifted on top of their musculature. It's fucked up. But yes, I'm sorry. I derailed.
Before we jump off Mando, Lorian, not our good sponsor, Mando, shopmando.com. Mandalorian and Grogu shot by Davey Klein.
Yeah, boy.
The fucking kid who shot Clerks kids, fucking 32 years and 33 years ago, technically, when he shot it. Shot Mandalorian and Grogu. What a glow up. And Davey Klein worked very hard for that, for every fucking frame of that. Everyone on Clerks got slaps on the back. But I'll tell you who didn't get fucking shit out of Clerks was the DP, because ain't nobody in the history of Clerks ever said, you know what looks great? Clerks. Like, looks like it was shot through a glass of milk. So poor Davey had to like really learn. I had to learn my craft in front of people and shit, but I had other talented artisans helping me do that. Dave had to go show off his craft and learn it in front of people and stuff, and did it over the course of his lifetime and stuff. And I remember like they wouldn't let us work with him on Dogma, and then there was a couple of years we couldn't work with him. And then when we did Clerks 2 again, I was like, I ain't fucking doing this unless Dave comes back. And so then me and Dave went on a run together again for a while. During that run, we did Red State. While we were doing Red State, he was like, hey, can I show the people at True Blood some of the footage from this? There's an opening for DP there. Then he went to True Blood for a couple seasons. Off of True Blood, he went to fucking Homeland and shit. So this dude like did the time. He gave up 2 fucking shoulders to the art because he operated himself. He wasn't just the DP. Dave would fucking operate the camera. And over time, that'll take this out, your rotator cuff. So he gave up 2 fucking shoulders, man, to the art. And then wound up in the fucking world of Lucasfilm. And, he shot, I think, Boba Fett. He shot Mando one of those seasons as well. And now he shot the whole ass fucking Mandalorian Grogu movie, man. Like, that's just goddamn fucking beautiful. I'm very, very happy for him. Very proud of him and stuff.
Love to see the work. Love to see it pay off.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but, and like if you ever wanted it, it's not like I could have called this, but I could have told you like, oh, he's going to work forever based on Red State. When we were making Red State, I was like, Dave, we ain't got anybody to fucking answer to. So let's just shoot every way you've ever wanted to shoot a fucking movie. And it's a real showcase. That movie is very, like, at first chatty as Red State is, it's also pretty visceral in terms of filmmaking. Probably my most active filmmaking, visual storytelling that I've ever been involved in. And that was Dave unleashed. And man, oh man, I can't wait to kick back in a movie theater, look up and fucking watch a whole ass Star War that he was responsible for. That's really fucking dope.
Gotta love it.
For those who are like, oh, he was the DP on Clerks, he's also a motherfucker who was like, hey, do you have what is it? Do you have hubcaps? Do you sell hubcaps for 6'2" Pinto hatchback. Ooh, Mini Trucker magazine. Or ooh, Navy SEALs. That's Dave Klein. Or if you saw Mallrats, he's the one that has Stan written all over his bald head at the Stan signing shit. He's like, "Don't hit me." Yeah, man. That fucking guy shot a fucking Star War, man. Well, I mean, I guess they're not calling it a Star War, but it is a Star War.
Yeah. If X-Wings show up, it's a Star War.
Are they calling it, Banff Man, is it called Star Wars, like Star Wars, Mandalorian and Grogu in the middle?
I haven't seen that. I'm sure on some of the posters, but no, the Mandalorian and Grogu showtime, 2 hours and 12 minutes. Never mind. I thought it would be an hour 45. But yeah, no, the main poster, it does say Star Wars very tiny above it.
All the trailers from the official Star Wars site do say Star Wars: The Mandalorian and Grogu. So yeah, I guess they've decided, hey, maybe we should brand this.
Let me tell you something, man. I know some people had trouble with the Super Bowl spot.
Yeah,
like, hey, what the fuck's that all about? But the moment I saw fucking Tauntauns, I was like, oh, I'm in. And then the moment I saw footage with fucking Snowwalkers, I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm in. Like, this is, they do what they did so well in that TV show, which is like Star Wars remixed. So I'm there. But I am surprised that people are like, well, it's probably not going to open big. Like, what?
Can I tell you guys something that's kind of fun?
Yeah.
About owning Scum and Villainy? Somebody texted me tonight and they were like, hey, they're doing like 15 IMAX screenings on May the 4th of Mando and Grogu early. Get your tickets right here. And I clicked it and everything was sold out except for Fresno. And I was like, oh, dude, I can't drive to Fresno on May the 4th. I'm so sorry. I didn't get tickets. And he's like, I got 2 tickets. Do you want to be my +1? So I'm going to go see the movie on May the 4th at Universal.
That's way early. That's like more than 2 weeks, or almost 3 weeks early.
Yeah. So I'll see it early. I can come and let everybody know before on the Fat Man Beyond.
Look, kids, me and Mark, we'd love to go early too. So if you bought some tickets.
Did you buy a parcel of tickets?
Yeah, he bought like a few and shit.
Did you get a row? You got a row with the Chinese?
Break us off a couple tickets, kid. Why the fuck can't we get in early to see shit? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Probably when it comes to Disney movies, because I'm on the show.
Yeah. You know what? You may be what's holding us fucking back. I never thought of that. They're like, come on, man.
That guy.
Dude sells blue milk. He's our competition.
Which is hilarious. I can show you our bank account. It's funny. Disney makes more money in like 3 hours selling lightsabers at the lightsaber workshop than we do in a year.
Think about that, kids. For all you kids out there who are like, I'm thinking about opening a theme bar. You just heard it. In the chat, Alan Smithy 9227 said, just show up, Kevin. They'll let you in. I wonder, because I am recognizable, particularly in that world. Like the world of, I'm not saying in Hollywood, but in the world of premieres at like Grauman's Chinese Theater and shit. Like I know the staff, all the security and shit like that. So, I wonder what would happen, or if they just be like, I guess we should let them in. But I was just saying this weekend. I was back east doing a show at Smod Castle with Jay, and then we did the first episode of Jay and Silent Bobber and his ass. Then Yorma Tacone came and showed an excellent fucking movie he made called Over Your Dead Body. Great fucking shit. I think that's opening this weekend or open now. And then the next night, Sunday night, we showed the Napa Boys, which Jay and I pop up for in a cameo. And man, that movie was fucking brilliant in how it committed to a bit. Like this, the premise of Napa Boys, it picks, you know, they were like, the director was going, Nick was going, you know how like Star Wars was essentially George Lucas reinventing the movies he grew up with, like Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers. He's going, Napa Boys is like that, but the genre it's reinventing is not the American Pie movies, but the straight to video spin-offs of American Pie movies put through the prism of Sideways, the Paul Giamatti movie. So the whole movie is predicated on what if Sideways had created a Marvel Universe like series of spin-off movies, that there were so many that they eventually got to their direct-to-video American Pie series of that films, and that's what Napa Boys is meant to be. It's like an Adult Swim film on fucking acid, where it's just like, oh, they've committed to a bit, and it fucking works. It holds together. It's pretty amazing. So I did those movies, but anyway, I was back east, and what was the point of that?
I'm not sure. We were talking about you sneaking into a Star Wars premiere just as like Kevin Smith.
Thank you. Because I almost had it right there. Oh, so they're shooting a fucking television show or Netflix series, rather, I should say, in Middletown, New Jersey. You know that fucking scary ass clown, the liquor clown, like on highway Route 30, was it 35, 36?
35, yeah.
And the liquor joint closed down, but the clown is still there. Netflix is shooting a series called Rabbit with Adam Driver. They've been there. They built a whole fake convenience store around the place, and I guess it's like it's a lot of fucking cop cars around it, fake cop cars. So I think it's like some sort of hostage situation. I don't know anything about it, but it's been shooting in my neck of the woods for the last fucking month, it feels like. So me and Ernie drove past on my way down to Smodcastle when he picked me up from the airport. And I was like, this still happening? He said, yeah, they're shooting for a while still. And I said to him, what do you think would happen if I just walked on set and just pretended like I was supposed to be there and shit? Like, how far could I get? Could I get to Adam Driver? Could I get right up? Could I get right up to Kylo Ren in the fake convenience store? Wouldn't most people assume, like, well, we're shooting at a fake convenience store, maybe he's a cameo, like he made Clerks make sense? I wonder how far I could get, maybe, before somebody's like, you're not supposed to be here. Just because you made movies once doesn't mean you get to be on everybody's set.
I mean, if you were a proper TikToker, you would do this and capture it.
I'm not a proper TikToker.
I know.
Probably.
We're old men, and that's fine. But
yeah, man, I should just run on set and be like, ah. People are like, that's not what they do on TikTok.
I made it.
They're like, I believe you're doing "was up."
I'm being back.
Anyway,
I mean, I remember hearing there's this great story that I think Denzel Washington told on the #1 on the Call Sheet podcast about how he, and I guess you'd have to call it, crashed the Black Panther premiere in New York. He's like, I didn't want to walk the carpet. I didn't want to see fucking paparazzi. I just wanted to go talk to Ryan and Chadwick. So I hit the premiere. Like, I guess if you're Denzel fucking Washington and there's a premiere in New York, you can just go. And nobody's going to stop Denzel from walking through whatever door Denzel wants to walk through.
Do you know why? Do you know why? Because King Kong ain't got shit on him.
No, that's also true. And Plymouth Rock landed on him.
Oh, fuck. Ooh, look at that. Excellent pull.
But I feel like you could be the Denzel of Star Wars. You could just start walking.
Could you imagine in any small way in this world that I could be the Denzel of anything?
I would sure like to see you try.
That'd be amazing. That's what I'd say if I walked onto the set of Rabbit when I met if I got up to Adam Driver, the end goal is for me to reach Adam Driver without anyone going, hey, get out of here. You're not supposed to. And when I get to Adam Driver unchecked, then I say, hi, I'm Denzel Washington.
I'm from around the way. I'm leaving here with something.
Should we is there any news or should we?
Not really.
I will say this. Remember we had years ago Andy Park on this show?
Yes.
Andy Park was absolutely lovely. And Andy Park was a designer. He came from the world of comics, but in Kevin Feige, when they were putting together Marvel Cinematic Studios, and for the first, how many years they've been doing this shit? 13, 16, whatever the fuck, almost 20. There's always been this creative council, I guess, whatever they had the name for, a team of designers.
It was the visual development department.
Who kind of, what would be the word? Imagine with graphics what the Marvel Cinematic Universe and key scenes will look like. Kevin Feige wanted this because, Marvel's based on comic books. He's a big comic book fan. And he always wanted to see, okay, well, we're aiming for this moment. Let me see it with our real people and what those costumes would look like and stuff. So the design team saw the movie before we ever did, before the writers ever did, before the directors ever did, and sometimes before Kevin Feige ever did. Maybe Kevin Feige saw the movie first, and as much as he's like, hey man, draw this for me. But these cats imagined the visuals that stopped our hearts, that captured our imaginations, that kept us fucking shelling out to go to the Marvel movies and shit. So Andy comes on the show after what? Like, is it after Wanda?
I don't remember.
He showed us an image of Wanda in her outfit, or maybe I'm confusing that, but he was on after something. And man, he was just absolutely wonderful and insightful as fuck. And he was there since the beginning. I don't know if it's him 100%, but the opening with fucking all the Marvel characters and Cap throws a shield. Yeah. Was he one of the artists on that?
I mean, I think a lot of that stuff was some of that early visual development work that Marvel did. Like, how do we make these two-dimensional things look three-dimensional? How do we redesign these costumes so that they look like they could exist on real people? How do we conjure what Thor fucking looks like? And what these worlds look like? What does Asgard look like? What does fucking the Sanctum Sanctorum look like for real? That's what the visual development, that's what the viz dev guys and gals worked on for 20 years. And Andy Park was a director of development over there. Like, he was, I'm not going to say the muckety muck, but one of the prime movers of the visual style of the MCU. And that entire department was binned, canned, asked to leave, eliminated, downsized, de-workforced. I'm not sure the word you want to use for fired.
They're shit can.
Yeah.
And somebody, first naturally everybody was like, AI, they're going to feed all their work into AI, and AI is going to do the work from now on. But I saw some of them, I guess, said that, like, no, they're just going to rehire us as freelancers.
Yeah.
Instead of paying us, our fucking salaries and insuring us. So once again, fucking big businesses. But and I'm sure there's some AI in there, but it wasn't as simple as like, they're gonna fight, it's AI is replacing them. As the studios are like many places, I guess some cats are using AI as the reason to let people go.
Hmm. Yeah, and the reasoning behind it, at least that was given by Disney and their new CEO, um, is that they're making less movies and less TV shows. Like the demand for an in-house design department is not as high as it used to be when they were making 3 and 4 movies a year, ramping up for 2 and 3 TV shows. And like, sure, I guess I get it, but in the same token, like this is a band of incredibly talented individuals who did defining work for this company, um, without whom it would not be what it is. And you could probably lay a claim that it would not have made the money that it made if it didn't have this kind of cohesive visual design aesthetic behind it. So it's just sad, man. It's always sad. Like the more we hear, the deeper we go, into this 21st century, the worse it seems to be for the people who make the stuff that we love.
Josh Petrino in chat said AI is already affecting my VFX gigs. There are literal AI post teams now.
Yeah. Jason in chat, like, I think there's no imagination really required for what Thor's supposed to look like. I disagree.
Yeah, I mean, look, we know what Thor looks like in the comics, but bringing that to life, it's a whole different thing. And again, they worked on Thor's design how many fucking years ago?
Yeah, and it changes every movie. And like, yeah, how do you do with the plates on his chest and make that look real? How many plates should be on this dude's chest? What does Mjolnir look like? Does it look like the comics? How do we change it? How do we make it feel real and not ridiculous? Like, that's all a series of choices that people have to make. It is not just, yeah, do that. Somebody's got to fucking build that.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I was shocked that they let him go, though. Like, I mean, look, the whole thing was like, oh man, that's a lot of jobs. And like everything else in this fucking crumbling industry, sad to see those jobs go. Although not heartening, but at least the silver lining was like, oh, they're gonna hire him back. They're just gonna hire him back at reduced rates, which is fucking just business being business and shit like that. But shocking that a guy who was with him from the jump, he was very gracious about it in his social media, talking about like, I look forward to the new adventures and stuff like that. But like, man, there's another piece I saw about one of the artists was let go of or fired, not like you're fired, but whatever they do, downsized to his face in a conference room with his artwork painted all over it.
Yeah. Yeah. He was in the Loki conference room. I saw that. It's like, yeah, I designed that show.
I know somebody asked who's responsible, and naturally it's Disney making a choice because Disney has got shareholders and they're, what do they call that? Fiscal responsibility.
Yeah.
Demands that they have to make fucking turn profits for their shareholders. And I guess this is one of the potential routes they see to getting there.
Yeah. And like the sad part is that it's like real people in their lives. Like, I know I've gotten at least 4 or 5 invitations to going away parties because people are just leaving town.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, can't make it work. Can't do it. Like, not working. The job that I used to have is no longer available. The studio that I used to run for design is not being hired to design things. And so, like, I can't stay. LA is too expensive a place to stay and not work. And so for the same reason, under different conditions, people used to leave LA during the pandemic. It was like, hey man, I can't work here. I can't afford this rent if I can't work. We're out of the pandemic and people still can't afford their rent because they're not getting work. It's kind of fucked up. But everything will be fine.
Man's here.
What happens when none of us have enough money to buy the things that the corporations are selling to us? Then the corporations have no money. Then nobody has any money.
UBI, baby. universal basic income, which was never a discussion I understood. I was on an episode of Joe Rogan years ago where he was talking about universal basic income, and I think that was the first time the concept was introduced to me. And I remember when they said, they're like, hey man, because one day, I don't know if they said AI, but they're like, the working people are going to go away to computers. Maybe he said AI, I can't remember, but he kind of called it, where he was like, oh, the whole world is going to be unemployed because machines are going to be able to do what we do. And if that's the case, how is anybody going to afford to live? And that's where the idea of universal basic income comes from. And I remember when that episode was happening, and I cannot remember when it was. If somebody wants a deep dive, you jump in the comments and do so. I can't remember when the episode was, but I remember thinking at the time, like, well, that just sounds very paranoid. But here we are years later, and now universal basic income is a primary discussion, because you're absolutely right. How the fuck is anybody going to be able to afford any of the things they're going to sell us if nobody's working?
Yeah. Except I cannot see a world in which America institutes a universal basic income. It happens overseas, like I think, Norway, the Scandinavia is big on that shit. Like, we're going to give you, $50,000 a year, $40,000 a year just to live and be here. If you make more, great. But you can subsist and still be here without it. And like, yeah, I was listening, I was watching the Trevor Noah podcast, and he had this scientist on there who was talking about the sort of apocalypse that is about 15 years away. There's
15?
going to, yeah, he's like, there's going to be no middle class anymore. It is just going to be the upper class, and then everybody else who is mostly unemployed, working basically subsistence jobs that you can't really hire a machine to do. But everybody else, like, how does a society function in which nobody can have a job? Because there are no jobs left for humans. And it's like, we got what, 300, 400 million people in America. What's going to happen to the, however that math works, the not 100,000 people who make over $1 million a year and still can survive? And it's going to be awful.
Is the optimist like, it's Star Trek, and the pessimist is like, it's Andor? Like, is that the choice?
Here's I'm not going to say a pessimist, but here is a thought in chat. And that big kind of sent a chill up my spine. Oh my God,
I mean, it's also Star Trek because I believe in the mid 21st century in Star Trek, there's a thing called the Bell Riots, which is like homelessness and social fucking fabric eroding, and gives way to the worst parts of humanity, out of which is born the Federation. So do we have to survive through apocalypse before we get to utopia? Probably.
I'm glad that I'm living in the Bell Riots part and not the Federation part.
Yeah. Yay.
Everything got quiet.
Yeah, well, because you're looking for data.
Yeah, I might as well stop looking for it. But I saw a comment that made me go, "Oh my God." I can't find it, but essentially they were like, "There's a reason they're building those fucking prisons." They were like, UBI is never going to come. UBI is never going to be true. The person said, "There's a reason they're building those mass prisons."
Yeah. Yeah, it's it is the apotheosis, the zenith of the kind of Silicon Valley ethos of move fast and break things. And it's like, oh, well, maybe society should not have been one of those things we move fast to break. But
people are in chat are saying the Bell Riots started in 2024 in Star Trek, followed by World War III.
Yep. Here we are.
Team Drag said, "We are heading towards a social credit score system like China. We are already a surveillance state and country. They didn't build all those private prisons for nothing."
Hammer Fair 3528. It's like, bring Brad back. Y'all are bumming me out.
Brad's like, when Superman tells Spider-Man he doesn't have the strength to do the thing he's doing? More of that, less of these three guys talking about the end of society.
Yeah, things got dark there for a second. But you know what, kids? Comics.
Fat Man After Dark.
Yeah, Batman, very dark. Hey, kids, you like this kind of fucking comedy? Come see me live in Indianapolis, man. In Indiana. Throw up that graphic there, Banff man. I don't have the information in my head because I'm spiraling. I'm triggered and worried. There it is, man. The Summit City Comedy Center, May 15th and May 16th, 2 shows a night. And then there was another one too. Was there another one after that? Or is that the only one? I thought there were like 2 Indiana gigs.
They're both on this 15th and 16th.
Are they in 2 different places though? I thought I was in, let me look at my phone. It might not be you, honestly. I think it's me. I think, let me see. What day is that? Did I say? May what?
May 15th and 16th in Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne, Indiana, an evening with Kevin Smith. But it didn't say where, does it?
Summit City Comedy Club.
Really should have my information ready before I fucking try to sell a thing. And then, you know what? I don't know. Indiana, do the work. I'm coming. I'm coming on those days. I'm coming
We'll be somewhere in your state.
I'm gonna be there. Please come find me, man. And then, man, what's after that? What are the other?
It looks like this weekend you're at South Texas Comic-Con.
That's right, man. Way down south in Texas.
Ooh,
like practically in Mexico, I think, or in the water, in the Gulf. It is McAllen. Is that what it's called? Texas. All I know, it's the kind of Texas you got to take 2 airplanes to get to.
Oh, damn.
Heavens, yes. I'll be there this weekend, kids. Right there at
McAllen Comedy Club.
No, Comic-Con. Comic.
Oh, yeah. McAllen Convention Center.
But what is the name of the Comic-Con? South Texas Comic-Con?
South Texas Comic-Con.
This is way down South Texas.
And then you'll be
in
El Paso.
Oh, speaking of Texas, then I'll be in El Paso.
That's the old El Paso.
The El Paso Comic-Con, kids. Tickets at csmod.com. What happens after that?
At the end of June, then you're in Indiana, and then at the end of June, at the Sunray Cinema, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back 25th anniversary. I don't know where Sunray Cinema is.
Tampa, Florida, man. I'm coming down to do 2 screenings. One is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back on June 26th, and then Dogma on June 27th. Tickets at csmod.com. Somebody just asked, hey, man, what about Yoga Hosers in Babylon? May 3rd. We had to cancel those. Harley's not going to be around. She's got a gig. She's going to New Zealand. So it's like,
Ooh, hot damn.
Honor the gig, yeah.
Hobbitses?
So Hobbits is indeed, my friend. If you want her to bring home any knickknacks, let me know. Meantime, we'll reschedule that Yoga Hosers 10th anniversary screening for later in the year. But Ralph was also coming out to do that screening. And since the screening's not happening, then we were going to do Babel, but we've shelved Babel as well. So yes, there will be no New Jersey event May 3rd. However, I am going to be in New Jersey for the opening of Mandalorian and Grogu. And I know it's not up on the website yet, but we're going to do a watch with Kev, Mandalorian and Grogu. So we can watch the movie together, kids. The weekend it opens, I think the Saturday, whatever it opens the 22nd. I think I'm there the 23rd. Tickets not up yet, but will be at csmod.com and at smodcastleCinemas.com. What else you got?
May 4th, it's a Monday this year. So I debated and I decided we're still going to open at 6 a.m. because I feel like either you're like Mark and you can come in for breakfast and have a few drinks before you go to work responsibly, or you're like everybody else and you don't have a job and you could just come in at 6 a.m. and drink for, 20 hours or whatever it is that we're legally allowed to be open.
Is May the 4th a weekend or no?
It's Monday this year.
Oh my God. But people like liquor on any day, so you're good.
Well, and I mean, what else are you going to celebrate? The world is coming to an end according to Star Trek. So
yeah,
come have a blue milk on a Monday. Start the week off right. Breakfast. We've got special breakfast sandwiches and stuff we're going to do. I've seen them. They look tasty. So yeah, come in before work on Monday.
One blue milk and you'll be in the pink, my friends. Thank you.
Keep the doctor away.
Audrey, who runs the operations day to day in Hollywood, because I spend all my time in Burbank, she was like, Monday, you want to open at 6 a.m.? So you know how you argue with Jordan and you're like, we're going to sell 1,000 Jeff's Kiss t-shirts. Everybody please show up and prove me right. Because I swore to Audrey that we would be busier between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. than we would between 10 and 3. So come have breakfast with us. I'll be there. And then I'm going to do Star Wars trivia right after.
Before you go to Fresno to see a movie, right?
Yeah.
That's right, man. He's going to take in some Mando ahead of time and shit. Speaking of Mando, thanks to the good folks at shopmando.com for being tonight's sponsor. I'm only rushing things along because I just looked at my low battery. Your shit's about to go to sleep soon, and I am far from my charger.
It's also been 3 hours.
Disappear, that's it. I just don't want you guys being like, what happened? Yeah, that did last a good time. How long's the show been going on?
Yeah,
just shy of 3 hours.
Yeah, that's pretty good commercial for the fucking Apple Macintosh battery or whatever the fuck this is.
I got a con coming up.
Hey, Mark's got something to say.
I got one.
What you got? When is it?
Northern Fan Con in Prince George, Canada. Next weekend, next Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So I'm going to be this weekend at South Texas Comic Con, and you're going to be at Northern Fan Con.
I will. We're bracketing North America.
It's like a season 4 or 5 episode of True Blood. They just don't want the characters to be together anymore. They spend most of the season. Can you tell them rewatching it? They spend most of the season keeping them apart.
That's a choice. I've never seen True Blood. I think I saw the first couple of episodes and then just fell off of it.
Are you fucking nuts? You would love it. Oh, it is one of the horniest shows I've ever seen in my life. But it's like so fucking. It's vampires, werewolves, shapeshifters. Fucking. Oh, it was a good time, man. But fuck, everybody at one point or another gets naked on that show, and everybody fucks somebody else on the show. If you like nipples, men and women, that's the show for you.
I feel like I would have watched it if HBO sold it to me that way. Hey, do you like nipples?
They needed me. That's what they were missing. Kids, did you have a good time tonight? You have a better time going to see Mark at Northern Fan Con or me at South Texas Comic Con or El Paso Comic Con in the next 2 weeks. If you had a good time tonight, it's all because of Banff Man and Will Wilkins put us into your homes. There's Banff Man right there. You want to say happy wedding, Banff Man. Best way to do it. Go to scumandvillainy.com or what is it?
Foundingfleet.com.
Foundingfleet.com and become a member. Scum and Villainy Rendezvous. Kids, backer, if you will. Join us, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And thanks to Brad Meltzer for coming out and hanging out.
Not only coming out and hanging out, but dropping that good ass talk, man.
Hell yeah.
He was like a visiting preacher who you're like, why can't he be our fucking pastor? I don't know why I keep leaning toward the religious, but it was just he had that good talk, you know what I'm saying? I felt like I was wearing a church crown when he was talking.
Like, man, that homily slapped.
It really did. It really did, man. Kids, if you enjoyed this show, fucking it's only because the guy down there in the what would that be? The Cindy Brady spot? Were the boys on the left or the right side?
Oh, I don't remember.
Here's the story of a man named Brady. Left side with the boys, right side with the girls. So you are in the Cindy Brady spot. Circle gets the square. Give it up for Marc Bernardin, everybody.
I always felt like a Cindy, my friend.
Kids, there you go, man. Fucking don't forget, if you're in anywhere right at the weed shop down the street from my house only right now, until May 8th, you can get yourself some Jay and Silent Bob banana hammock. Go swinging in Jay and Silent Bob banana hammock only from the good folks at Jeter. Happy late belated 420 or happy 422, kids. For Fat Man Beyond, I'm Kevin Smith.
And I am Marc Bernardin.
Tune in next time, kids. Same Fat Time, same Fat Channel, smodcast.com or
youtube.com/Kevin Smith.
Jay and Silent Bob Delivered.com, kids. Jeff's kiss. Mwah. This is the cat. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything. Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Cheers,